The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
Playoff time in Edmonton. The Eskimos begin their defense of the Grey Cup. 11 times they've won the title, each one starting on a day like this. Can Damon Allen turn back the hands of time? It was 1 year ago. He directs the Eskimos on an 8-game winning streak that climaxes with the Edmonton Grey Cup. In BC, the wheels fall off an aging defense. There's no escaping Father Time. But this season, what's old is new again. A renovated Lions defense features a brazen bunch of young marauders. Damon Allen, meanwhile, battles inconsistency. An Edmonton encore weighs heavily on his shoulders. Then, an untimely injury. A broken arm sidelines receiver Jim Sandusky. His time is up. But quarterback Danny McManus's time has come. The Lions' game plan is now in his hands. Game day in Edmonton on a gorgeous mid-November afternoon for football in northern Alberta. Storied Commonwealth Stadium, hallowed with great names from great players of the past. The setting this afternoon for this Western semifinal, the Eskimos at home to the BC Lions. Good afternoon and welcome to the CFL on CBC. I'm Mark Lee with a program note that this game could contain coarse language and plenty of violence, so viewer discretion is advised. That's the word we get from the coaches who expect a brutally physical football game this afternoon. That has been the trademark of the BC defense. Just 2 players are back from last year. It's a young football team. 4 of the front 7 are rookies, and they play with reckless abandon. A big loss for the Eskimos today. Jim Sandusky at receiver cannot play because he has a broken arm. And so the responsibility to carry the Edmonton receiving corps falls on Eddie Brown. And he could be in store for a big battle today with Barry Wilburn, defensive back for the BC Lions, a punishing defender, a man known to beat up the best of receivers in the CFL. The Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1988 when they won the Western Final right here at Commonwealth against the Edmonton Eskimos. How do they stack up today? Well, for all the answers, let's join Chris and Danny.
Thanks, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. Kip, I think it's the best matchup of the semifinals. The 2 teams separated by 3 points in the regular season. They split their 2 games, great defenses, and maybe both teams are underachievers in a way in their fans' minds. How do you grade the matchup?
Chris, you got to love it today. This has got the feeling of a heavyweight fight. And let's go to the tail of the tape and tell you just how it stacks up. Defensive line, I give it to the Edmonton Eskimos. 41 sacks going into this game. Linebackers, I also give to the Edmonton Eskimos. Ruck and Press are 2 names you just need to mention. The secondary goes to the BC Lions. Their experience, and also they're stronger in the safety position with Europe.
So on defense, slight edge Edmonton.
Well, they really are. Now, offensive line comes back, and it goes back to the BC Lions. Second leading rusher with Corey Philpott. Receivers also go to the BC Lions. The Fab Four are back together. Running backs, I give to the Edmonton Eskimos. They have 2 guys that know what they're doing every snap of the ball. Quarterback, the mobility of Damon Allen is the key. Special teams, 1 name, Henry Gizmo Williams. And the intangibles goes to the Edmonton Eskimos, defending Grey Cup champions.
So the edge on paper goes to Edmonton. They also have home field advantage, but the BC Lions have won 5 of the last 6 meetings here at Commonwealth Stadium. Mark?
All right, Chris, you're looking at Memorial Stadium this afternoon where Baltimore plays host to Toronto in an Eastern semifinal. We'll have updates throughout the afternoon of this first CFL playoff game on American soil and what looks like a beautiful day on the Eastern Seaboard. Pretty nice here, too. Normally, the weather, half the battle in the playoffs here in Canada. Not today. It's 3 degrees, barely a breeze, and beautifully sunny this afternoon in Edmonton. The Eskimos installed as 3.5-point favorites will have the opening kickoff when we come back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton.
West Coast weather is how Louis Pasaglia described it, taking the field earlier today. It's a magnificent mid-November day. in northern Alberta as we get set for this semifinal between the BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos. Ron Lancaster guided the S to a Grey Cup last year, but says that's in the past and has made no references to it this week, or in fact all season. Dave Ritchie, 21-14-1 as head coach in BC, but you get the feeling he's got to win a playoff game to shake the critics.
Well, he certainly does. They're really after him out on the BC coast. They really hound on a couple of mistakes that he made through the course of this season, but he can right it all wrong with a victory today.
Louis Pasaglia kicking it off, and this Western semifinal is underway with Lucius Floyd. And good downfield pursuit led by Ricardo Washington. And the Edmonton Eskimos will be led onto the field offensively by Damon Allen, the hero last year in the playoffs. The Grey Cup MVP, and here are his numbers of 94. And kept Ron Lancaster, despite the stats which were not as good as Allen had hoped for this year, Lancaster says he has full confidence that this guy can repeat what he did a year ago.
He's 100% healthy right now, and he's mobile.
First play of the game, they fake inside on the roll. Allen throwing, looking for Eddie Brown, and it's incomplete. Charles Gordon covering Eddie Brown. That's a matchup we'll be looking for today.
These guys across the back end have 5 of the best cover guys in the CFL. They can play press, man-for-man defense, and that should give the Edmonton Eskimos a fit this afternoon.
2nd and 10 for Damon Allen. At the 37 out of the shotgun, here comes the pressure. They go back to Brown, and Eddie Brown turns it upfield and steps out at the Edmonton 54. So again, the target early is Brown for Edmonton against Charles Gordon. It works for 17 yards.
A couple of key things that Damon wants to do here is, first and foremost, get Eddie Brown involved in this game. If you get him involved early, you'll keep his focus and you'll keep his attention. And they just were able to do that.
12 touchdown catches during the year, but none in the last 3 games for Brown, who is the prime weapon, especially with Jim Sandusky out. Here's the give straight up the middle, and Lucius Floyd met by Charles Gordon again. Down to the BC 50, it's a gain of 6. And the ground gain was so important a year ago for Edmonton in the postseason.
Chris, one of the big things you're going to see here, the Edmonton Eskimos line up with 3 backs. They have Souls, Floyd, and Walling in the back. Souls and Walling were up on the line of scrimmage like tight ends, and they had Floyd in the backfield. This is really going to create some problems for this BC defense. It widens the corner. It gives an extra gap that the BC defense has to defend against.
2nd and 3, the give to Floyd again, and this time a full close down right at the line of scrimmage. Dave Chaters filled the hole, made the stop, and will force 3rd down.
Chaters has just been solid and stable right in the middle of this BC defense. Plus, what those guys do up front, they cover the gaps, and they've got great speed with their linebacking core that can run and chase and make tackles. Floyd gets the ball deep, but great penetration that time. Allowed Floyd to have to cut back, and when he did cut back, Chaters doing his job, squeezed it down.
Glenn Harper punting on 3rd down. Big kick, and Darren Flutie allowed it to bounce into the end zone and through for a single point. So the Eskimos score first. 2 minutes, 7 seconds into the game, and Harper with a 69-yard single. That's his longest punt of the season.
Bring it back. There's a penalty, unnecessary roughness against BC on that play. If they take it back, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 3. We have a single point. 1st down at the 20.
Okay.
Barry Wilburn, unnecessary roughness, and that means Danny McManus has to start deep in his own zone. We're going to talk a lot about penalties today. BC, the most penalized team this year, and kept in 2 games against Edmonton. They had over 100 yards more in penalties, but McManus is the starter in place of the injured Kent Austin, who is available for duty today. 2nd and 10 Corey Philpott on first down. BC wants to establish a running game, but Willie Pless denies Philpott on his first carry. And the numbers for Philpott, although impressive on the season, not against Edmonton. 7 carries for 6 yards in his only start against Pless and company.
Anytime you come out and challenge this Edmonton Eskimo defense and think that you're going to be able to run it down the throat, they rise up to that challenge and they shut it down, led by their all-star Willie Pless.
Second down and 11 after the 1-yard loss. McManus standing in and throwing a completion to Darren Flutie, his favorite receiver during the regular season. Damian Lyons making the tackle short of a first down. But Flutie, the prime target in the BC offense, 111 catches on the year, 1,731 yards, 2 club records.
About a yard, Chris. This is a big call for Dave Ritchie early in this ball game. Very soft technique by the defense, allows Flutie to come to the out, and Damian Lyons comes up after he reads the play, makes the stop short. You can see the numbers for Darren Flutie. He has just been remarkable. Now that he has the assets of the other 3 receivers, the Fab 4, as I mentioned in the onset, are back together.
Gotta like this. Third down and a foot, 3.5 minutes into the game, and big Sean Millington crashing over for the first down. 6'2", 225 out of Simon Fraser University. He is a load, tough guy to stop. Well, let's set the Edmonton Eskimo defense for you. First, the offense with Ian Sinclair, the veteran, leading the offensive line. McManus starting, and he has that Fab 4. Alexander, Trevathan, Flutie, and Clark, and Philpott and Millington in the backfield. McManus on first down, almost picked off by Willie Pless. Top defensive player in the West. Pless makes the knockdown, and we will now set the Eskimo defense for you with Goods and Woods, Blue and Hunter. This defense is number 2 in points allowed this year, and a secondary that's pretty solid. Trent Brown starting for the 4th straight game at safety. Second and 10 for McManus and the Lions. Here's the hitch screen to Flutie. Flutie trying to get outside and does! Out of bounds at the BC Lion bench, but he'll move the yardsticks.
This is one of their prime plays that they go to frequently. They get the ball to Flutie. Now, he made a good, quick decision here. This play is designed to come back to the inside. You can see Trevathan coming out to make a block, but then he's able to utilize that speed, get outside. Lawler doesn't have a place to be able to force it back inside to the containment, and it allows Doug Flutie to get outside and pick up the first down.
First down handoff, Millington gets to the 45, and that's all. Ruck and Pless, those 2 great linebackers, converged and limit the gain to maybe 1.
Danny McManus, he brings a lot to this offense of the BC Lions. He has a strong arm. He can throw the ball to the wideouts, so therefore it really does help them as far as being able to get the ball outside. If they can get it outside a little bit more, it's going to open up that quick throwing inside.
First ever playoff start for McManus. Throwing over the middle, and it's picked off. Trent Brown playing center field, and he's got an open field, but a flag down. Trent Brown is finally down at the 12, but there is a flag, and although the interception will stand, this one likely to come back. But Brown with a big interception, replacing Dan Murphy as the starting safety.
Block. Edmonton number 40, first down.
Benny Goods called on the illegal block, but nevertheless, the Eskimos with the first turnover of the game.
This is a bad pass. I think Danny McManus wants to get it back, but here you can see Danny McManus wants to come in straight to make the tackle, and one of the key defensive rules is as soon as an interception is thrown, try to find the quarterback and knock him down. But you got to get up in his face and try to hit him legally. Benny Goods hits him right in the back. That was a cheap shot. But more importantly for Trent Brown, the young safety, he comes up with the pick.
Turnovers have been a problem for BC of the playoff teams. Only Toronto has turned it over more. Ball back in the Eskimo side of half, and out of the backfield, Michael Souls wrapped up by Barry Wilburn. Michael Souls, who Ron Lancaster said yesterday was his top offensive player, game in, game out for 18 regular season games. Here's the Eskimo lineup. Lee and Williams outside, Brown, Christensen inside. Souls and Floyd will be big men for Edmonton today.
From what we just seen in the last two series, look for Souls, Floyd, and also number 34, Walling, to be in there and line up as either really tight slots or tight ends. You can see them up on the line there.
Second and short, and Souls drilled back. Henry Newby with a big stop, the rookie linebacker.
Drilled by Henry Newby.
Nevertheless, it looks like Souls got the foot or two needed.
Take a look at this straight dive, one-on-one blocking, and if you don't block this Newby kid, he's going to come in there and stroke you, and he makes everything go backwards. Big fella, 6'2", 231 pounds.
First down.
It is an Edmonton first down. BC Lions, number 4 against the run this year, number 2 against the pass. Second best defensive team in yardage allowed this year, 3 Canadians up front. And Doug Peterson replacing the injured Glenn Scribner. That's a bad injury for the BC Lions. First down, Allen stands in, delivers high, and Les Brown on Mike Lee.
What a season Les Brown has had. Coming into this game, 11 picks, leading the CFL, 87 career picks. 35 years old, he said this is his last year, and he wants to go out with a bang.
5th time he's led the league in interceptions. Dave Ritchie says he should be the top defensive player in the West, not Willie Platz. 2nd and 10 Edmonton. Here's the hit screen to Gizmo Williams, cutting it back. And Gizmo hauled down at the 37-yard line. That'll be close to a first down. Andrew Stewart, the nose tackle, brought down Gizmo.
You have to like what Damon Allen's doing early in this game. 2 key figures, Eddie Brown, now Henry Gizmo Williams, getting them both involved in this offense attack early so that their mind is sharp and they can stay focused on this game, their responsibilities, because both of these guys can take it into the zone with one quick pass.
Short of the first down, here's Mark.
Chris, an update from Baltimore on the other CFL Eastern semifinal this afternoon. The Argos have scored first to lead 3-0. Wayne Lamley has kicked a 38-yard field goal at 2:48 of the first quarter. The Argos in front 3-0 on the CFLers.
And Mark will keep you up to date throughout the afternoon on that game with scoring highlights from Memorial Stadium. 3rd down, our second gamble of the opening 7 minutes, and Allen will keep and should move the sticks.
David Allen on the QB keeper.
Less than a yard, not taking any chance on a handoff or a great penetration by the BC defense. He just jumps behind Rod Knopp and Leo Groenwagen with the quarterback sneak and picks up the first down.
I mentioned 3rd meeting of the year. The Eskimos winning September 17th in BC, 25-18. It is a first down. But BC came back here October 2nd at Commonwealth Stadium with a 26-24 victory. And I don't think Dave Ritchie and the Lions mind being here for the playoff game. They'd love to be at home for their fans.
Absolutely, but I think their record coming in here, they've won. They're 5-1 in their last 6 attempts as far as their trips coming in here. So they are successful. They just got to come out of here with a victory today.
There's a pass knocked down at the line, and it falls incomplete.
Allen's pass knocked down.
Great young linebacking core. That's Virgil Robertson, Tyrone Chapman, Henry Newby, and then, of course, the veteran Angelo Snipes. It's a young and exciting linebacking core in sharp contrast to a year ago when they had the veterans in there.
They really did, Chris. And you thought going in there this year with their offense, Ken Austin, the Fab Four, the offensive line, that would be solid. Their defense would really lack. Their defense has been just a great, pleasant surprise for them this year.
2nd and 10. Eskimos leading 1-0. 6:06 to go, first quarter. Here comes the rush. Allen gets it away, and it's knocked down by James Jefferson. The intended receiver was Henry Williams.
With this kind of secondary and this kind of experience, you cannot make mistakes. If you do, these guys will take it the length of the field and put it in the end zone. Quick slant pattern. He wants to hit Giz in stride, but the ball's thrown behind. You can see Giz is kind of tiptoeing as he comes off the line. The ball's thrown behind, and James Jefferson doesn't make too many mistakes as far as dropping those opportunities for a pick.
Sean Fleming good on about 3/4 of his attempts this year. This first of the 94 playoffs will come from 44 yards out with Harper holding. Fleming is wide, and Spencer McClellan will step out to concede another single point. There is a flag down. We'll sort it out for you when we return to Commonwealth Stadium. The single point on the missed field goal stands for Edmonton. Craig Hendrickson was charged with a roughing penalty that's tacked on after the play. There's Kent Austin, who is 3 weeks into his recovery from a separated left shoulder. He did throw the football that today in warm-up is available, but this appears to be Danny McManus's game to win for BC.
Well, I think it is, but can you imagine the comfort zone that Coach Ritchie is in, having this guy in the bullpen warming up, and you can bring him in there and probably not lose a step?
McManus with 3 starts during the regular season. He beat Edmonton last year as a starting quarterback. Hands off and hitting the hole quickly was Philpott. He's pushed back when he hit the midfield stripe by Willie Pless. And it's a gain of about 3 for Philpott, who has had trouble rushing the football against good teams in the CFL. These numbers look terrific, but he did not have a 100-yard rushing game against any team above 500 in the playoffs. In fact, against the plus 500 teams, just 164 yards. Second down, and the quick hitter to Darren Flutie. And Flutie's been a key receiver on second down early for BC in this football game.
It's very comfortable to Phil out there that all of a sudden McManus can line up, and he's got 4 key receivers that he can throw to, and that Edmonton defense has to respect each and every one of them. This time it just happens to be Flutie on the quick slant.
Well, he has done well in his limited playoff experience. Flag down as Sean Millington takes the handoff. Tony Woods with the tackle on the big fullback as he hit the 38-yard line.
Illegal procedure against BC. They waggled the backs out of there. Left Millington as the lone back, went 4 receivers to one side, and then just ran the raw.
BC number 77. Repeat first.
Mike Trevathan called for procedure. 4:09 to go, first quarter. It's 2-0 Edmonton. Dave Ritchie looks composed on the sidelines, but Kemp, every time you talk to him, you get the feeling he wants to suit up just as badly as the players.
He gets pumped up for this. I think yesterday, every time we get a chance to talk to him, it's right the day before a game.
McManus over the middle. There's Flutie again. At the 34-yard line in front of Robert Holland. And it was Holland that provided some reading material for the BC Lions this week.
Watch how McManus lays this ball in there, right on the outside hands of McManus, and in between 2 defenders. That was Don Wilson that he had to throw it in the outside linebacker. And he did an excellent job of threading that ball in between the zone. There's a good look. That's Vic Stevenson that went down.
13-year veteran Vic Stevenson getting attention. He'll have to come out for at least 3 plays. We'll take a break and be back to Edmonton after this. Single points by Glenn Harper and Sean Fleming have Edmonton on top 2-0 here, late first quarter. Todd Furtick will come in for Vic Stevenson. When the Lions' offensive line's healthy, they have 47 years experience. But right now on the right side, Kep, they've got Furtick and Mantika, and those are just second-year men. So it's a younger offensive line right now for BC. Millington has room right side. thundering down. Sean Millington broke a tackle and scores. What a run by the former Eskimo. 34 yards for Sean Millington.
Chris, you just happened to mention about the two young two-year players on the right-hand side, and what do? They go right behind them on the first play that they're in there. They give the ball to Sean Millington. He makes an excellent move just to the outside. Right here, boom, it's plugged up. Now he jumps to the outside. There's no containment. Poor tackling that time by Donnie Wilson. Hits Millington right in the thighs, and right where his strength lies. And Millington is able to use that power, gets it into the end zone.
Got a block from Ryan Hansen as well. And Pasaglia adds the extra point. So Sean Millington, who broke one for 60 yards against the Eskimos earlier in the year, has the first big play of this football game.
It was a draw in the earlier part of the year, but the carbon copy was the fact that the Edmonton Eskimos did some really poor tackling. But to his credit, Sean Millington has got quick feet. Look at this quick little move right there. And then he gets outside. Now he cuts the jet zone. He's able to run past people. Missed tackle by Wilson, missed tackle also by Glenn Rogers Jr., and that allowed Millington to get it into the end zone.
And he was the Lions' best running back against Edmonton this year with 7 carries, 92 yards, and now into the end zone from 34 yards out. And the first major of the afternoon at Commonwealth Stadium. And when we talked to Dave Ritchie yesterday, he was really high on Millington, who he says has really matured in the past couple of years.
He said that was the key word right there. He has really come into his own, but mostly he has matured as both a man and a professional athlete.
Ball out of bounds, and the Lions will likely be forced to kick over. The great veteran Louis Pasaglia, 300 games in the CFL, breaking Ron Lancaster's record in his 19th year.
Illegal kickoff, BC number 5. Repeat the kick, 5-yard penalty.
Louis is the kind of guy, he'll do the kind of things that help get this team pumped up. Yesterday when he was out at practice, I woke up this morning, I look at the Sun paper, and on the sports section, there's Louis. No shirt on, out there in the cold weather yesterday, getting pumped up. And it just goes to show you, those kickers do have bad bodies. It's not a pretty sight.
16th playoff game for Louis. And it's Lucius Floyd across the 40-yard line and up over the 50. Eskimos have a short field to work with, trailing by 5 late in the first quarter.
Back in Edmonton, gleaming on this glorious mid-November day, Barry Wilburn injured his ribs. He has bruised ribs from a hit during the last defensive series, but he remains in the game. He will be covering Eddie Brown one-on-one. This could be huge. Let's see what happens, Chris.
So now Brown is lined up as a flanker in behind Mike Lee, and they go to the opposite side to Gizmo Williams up to midfield. And a gain of 4 yards. That was an interesting set, though, for the Eskimos, with Brown right in behind Mike Lee.
Well, if you remember correctly, like last year, that was a formation where Sandusky kind of tandem behind, and they had some great success against Calgary, particularly in the Western Final, and also against Winnipeg in the Grey Cup. But it is important to get Eddie Brown into this offensive mode, get him moving. And I think that, like I was talking to Coach Ritchie yesterday, I would have lined up Wilburn against him all across the field all day long.
2nd and 6, and they go to Floyd over the middle, and Lucius Floyd broke a tackle and was finally brought down by the safety, Tom Europe, at the 34. Eskimos' biggest offensive play with 1:48 to go here in the first quarter. It's a pickup of 21.
When you take a look at the Edmonton receiving corps, Eddie Brown is the leading receiver, but then the next 2 receivers in line are Lucius Floyd and also Michael Soul. So they really do utilize this guy out of the backfield, and when he's in the open field, he's tough to bring down.
First down, Edmonton. Allen throwing in the flat and off the hands of Lucius Floyd. That time picked up by Angelo Snipes, and Dave Ritchie said yesterday, we've been working all week on making sure we know who is picking up Lucius Floyd out of the backfield.
This is a tenacious defense. They will line up and they will press you, and they like to play man-to-man. And when they can get the mismatch, they meaning the Eskimos and Damon Allen, one-on-one against this very active linebacking core of BC, they will try to take advantage of it.
2nd and 10. Allen flush to the left side. Brought it down, now throwing over the middle, incomplete. Couple of Eskimo receivers there, Christensen and Floyd, looking for a flag. None is thrown. Tom Europe was defending for BC.
Damon Allen, with his athletic ability, just buys some more time, and he goes to the outside. Now all of a sudden Peterson gets up in the air and he allows Damon to come out. But right at the last minute, Lucius Floyd had fallen down and tripped up over the turf, and as he did, he took down Tom Europe, who fell over top of him. Big roar about wanting a pass interference call, but there's no foul there.
There's Sean Fleming's playoff numbers. Missed his first attempt this afternoon from 44 yards. This will be from 40. And this one is good. Sean Fleming hitting a 40-yard field goal with 36 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And it's 7-5 BC.
Chris, Sean Fleming had come in and he had been absolutely perfect. He was 20 for 20 up until 0 to the 29-yard line, and coming into this game between 40 and the 49, he was 16 for 22. That was his only place that he was having a little bit of a rough spot kicking the ball.
Dave Ritchie, I would think, is not going to mind his defense giving up the three-pointers and the field goal attempts this afternoon. That's a couple of times Edmonton has gotten in deep, but had to settle for the field goal. Corey Philpott, and the going still tough up the middle for the leading rusher in the West this year.
There for the tackle.
When you have somebody like Millington that ran the ball for a touchdown earlier part of this game, that really cranks up a defense, and they want to challenge it. It's a matter of everybody being responsible, being disciplined, and when you have one guy that doesn't do his job, it results in 6 points.
2nd and long, and McManus over the middle. There's Flutie again, but well defense by Donnie Wilson. And that will force 3rd down.
There for the tackle.
And that is the final play of the first quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium. Sean Millington with the touchdown. Eskimos with kicking points, and the Lions with a 2-point lead. Chris Cuthbert, Danny Kepley, Mark Lee, and the CFL on CBC crew welcoming you back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton as we get set to start the second quarter. Louis Pasaglia in. It's 3rd and 3 BC, and Pasaglia with the dilemma because of Edmonton's outstanding return men. Do you short kick, which is what he did during the regular season, and give up field position, or do you challenge your specialty teams to handle Gizmo Williams? It will be Gizmo at his 34. And there may be some room out there. It shuts down, and good coverage by the Lions.
Now, the thing that happens there, Chris, this time they challenge their coverage team to get down there and make the play. What happens is when they try to kick it short and they kick it out of bounds away from those two guys back there, it allows Damon Allen to come out there and start on a fairly short playing field most of the time. This is what those guys get paid to do as far as the special team guys get down there and make the tackles.
First quarter statistics. 41 rushing yards for BC. 34 coming on the touchdown run of Sean Millington. First down called to Lucius Floyd with room off the left side. And Floyd brought down by James Jefferson. Close to a first down. In fact, he's got it. Jefferson, the corner, but there are 4 corners in that secondary for BC. Yep.
Here's the key right here. This is Angelo Stipes. Watch the way he gets upfield. He's got to contain Damon Allen, but it allows him to come up inside. Check the play. He's caught between a rock and a hard place. and all of a sudden he comes back inside. He doesn't have the pursuit from inside to make the tackle.
Allen under the gun, gets it to Eddie Brown, and Brown has great speed. Foot race against Jefferson. Touchdown, Brown! Yards as Eddie Brown goes downtown.
Eddie Brown's 13th touchdown of the season receiving, 16th altogether. He has 3 on punt returns. But once he catches the ball in the open field and able to get a step on you, this guy has got some jets, and he cut it right into high gear.
Third touchdown of the year against BC for Brown. Coming on to add the extra point. And the Edmonton Eskimos regain the lead. Well, especially with Sandusky out, Eddie Brown must have a big game, and Damon Allen and Brown have teamed up so often in the past.
They open up this middle. They got the safety poaching up. You can see 13 Europe. Now the key is Eddie Brown has to read that, come and fill the void that safety created. That's over the middle. Damon Allen had the time and the accuracy to deliver that ball, and Eddie Brown does the rest and gets it into the end zone.
Eskimos up 12-7 here. A couple of minutes into this second quarter. We've got the makings of a good football game as these two well-matched teams promised from the outset.
Chris, we mentioned about this being a fight early in the game, a heavyweight fight, and that's what we're seeing. Two teams filling each other out in the early rounds to see where they're vulnerable.
Philpott is back and runs out of room along the sidelines. And we'll be back with the BC possession when we return to Commonwealth. Welcome back to Edmonton. 8th playoff meeting between these two teams, and the Eskimos have the lead and the edge in the playoff meetings in the past. 6 wins against 1 Lion victory. It's their first semifinal meeting since 1959, Kep, when Edmonton won a 2-game total point, 61-15, and Don Whitman told me that you were outstanding in that series.
Not bad. I missed a couple of tackles in that, but I did have an interception.
Those were the good old days. Here's Philpott trying to get outside, and look at the swarming Edmonton D. And Willie Pless at the heart of it as usual. Errol Martin also created some pressure, and Pless certainly can attack the football.
Chris, they play such a disciplined style defense when they come in there. Those up front guys take care of the gaps, and they allow guys like Willie Pless and Larry Ruck to chase people down and make the tackle. And right now, as it stands, they're just the 2 best in this league at doing it.
Maybe a yard for Philpott. It's 2nd and almost 10. And McManus going deep, has Flutie. Check that, Matt Clark down at the 25-yard line. Well, it's the first pass caught by a Lion that wasn't Darren Flutie, but Clark got open deep for 55 yards and his biggest catch of the year.
This is a very complicated secondary that Edmonton runs. They run what they call match play, and they have to read 3 receivers, and there's 3 backs reading their coverages. And then when this happens, somebody makes a mistake, you're going to get a guy like Clark running scot-free down the side, just in a straight jet pattern all by himself. Holland is chasing, and all of a sudden, Trent Brown is the last guy to come over to save the touchdown.
First down, play action. McManus rolling, throwing, and that one almost picked. Don Wilson got his hands on the ball, but couldn't squeeze it. Yep, just to get back to the bomb to Clark, that's the one thing that I think Edmonton feels McManus offers that Austin may not. He can stretch the field a little bit for BC's offense.
I think he can. He can stretch it both width-wise as far as throwing the out, but also vertical by getting it down deep. Kent Austin is a great quarterback in his own right. He is noted for reading quick defenses, dumping the pass hot, taking advantage to the inside. So they basically do have two styles of offense to have to defend against.
McManus sharp on second down so far. Pressure on. Now gets it away. Clark drops the ball. Should have had that one. And it forces third down. Well, Clark's long reception gets them into field goal range, but that drop ball will snuff out a drive.
Clark keeps working and keeps working. He finds the open area and he comes in and he tries to curdle the ball into his hand, into his arms a little bit, as opposed to reaching out there and catching it with his hands. Usually a very sure receiver.
And so Louis Passaglia in. Darren Flutie, the holder, from 32 yards out. And Passaglia is good. 10:48 to go, first half at Commonwealth Stadium. And it's a 2-point Edmonton lead.
Welcome back, and here's the latest from Baltimore. The Argos on the 2-yard line. This is Modine going straight up the middle, locks horns with Matt Goodwin. He wins the battle. The Argos score. It's now Toronto 10, Baltimore 3. Baltimore getting an Ikwe-Bikwe field goal. This is second quarter action, Chris.
Toronto liked the matchup against Baltimore, and without Mike Pringle, the Argonauts could pull a big upset at Memorial Stadium this afternoon. Long way from that being over, and we've got a dandy going here.
Marvin Graves for Toronto has really matured a lot in 4 or 5 games, but with the addition of Modine in the backfield along with Pinball, they're going to be tough.
First down, Edmonton. Give Brian Walling. Walling looking to get outside. Caught from behind by Angelo Snipes, and he'll be caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Chris, just take a look. All it's going to do is just be an inside handoff here coming down. Angelo Snipes is going to come from the outside as Michael Soldier's going to try to get a block on him. But take a good look at the way he keeps his outside leverage. The trap plays there. Then he just plays off the block, slides down the line of scrimmage, and makes the tackle.
Second and almost 11 for Allen. Over the middle, looking for Brown, incomplete, as Allen delivered the football low.
Damon just did not look good at that throw there. Did not have his feet set under him. Looked like he was trying to rush the pass a little bit. Threw off the front foot and off balance.
Haven't seen Damon Allen run with the football today, and the Lions were hoping to force him into that situation.
Certainly like to. They've got a defense that can chase him down. They're not worried about his speed.
Harper. And Darren Flutie will step out at his own 38. 9:42 to go, first half. Here's Mark.
Chris, this was the scene moments ago as Barry Wilburn left the game to go to the BC Lions locker room for further examination of his left side of the rib cage. He bruised the ribs in the first quarter, taking a hit. It's been giving him a lot of pain, and now they're going to see if he can continue in this football game. Chris, likely he has more than this game on his mind with news today that his godmother, Wilma Rudolph, the great Olympic champion sprinter from 1960, died at the age of 54 from cancer.
First down as the BC offense goes to work, and Corey Philpott again with Willie Pless all over him. It's as if Pless is sticking to Philpott like glue in this first half.
Willie does a great job of reading offenses. Now he can read the pull. All of a sudden, the guard's pulling up in front. He knows that the back is behind him. He just gets to the corner a lot quicker and chases down Philpott. Willie has excellent pursuit speed, and he makes sure tackles once he gets there.
Willie's going to show Dave Ritchie that he deserves to be the top defensive player in the West. Second down, McManus over the middle, and Mike Trevathan dropped the football. Tell you what, I think McManus looked pretty sharp in this first half, but the couple of drop passes have hurt him.
One to Clark. This one just to Trevathan. Big plays that would have kept drives alive. Look at the way he threads that ball in between 3 Edmonton defenders. The ball hits Trevathan right in the chest. Comes loose. but McManus does look very confident and very sharp in the pocket today.
Third down and Pasaglia ready to kick to Gizmo and Robert Holland. High spiral kick, and Gizmo back at his 20. Matt Clark, first man down, and look at that coverage. That's a terrific play by the long snapper Matt Clark on Henry Williams. It's a 48-yard Pasaglia boot and a loss of 2 on the return. They did a great job against Gizmo and Eddie Brown this year. 9 returns in the regular season for just 37 yards.
Well, I would have to qualify that a little bit, because he did kick that to the side and kind of pooch kicked a lot of times. Louis is very intelligent. He's not going to kick it deep and have them return the yardage and then have it only be, 37 yards after 9 punts. So therefore, as I said, they accomplished what they were trying to do, and that's not let a big play happen.
At the 19, Allen in the flat. There's Lucius Floyd out of bounds at the 31, and that will move the yardsticks. What a great year receiving for Lucius Floyd, with 875 yards catching the ball out of the backfield.
4 touchdowns, a real key. Now they line up in that 2 tight end slots, and he gets him one-on-one against Virgil Robertson, the outside linebacker, and Lucius Floyd has quick bursts of speed and is able to get away from defenders, and Damon Allen looked very crisp with that throw.
First down, short drop, Allen, and he delivered high to Tobert on that hot pattern, and it was open.
Damon again just rushed that throw ever so slightly. He knows he should have had that one. He had the young rookie out of the U of A coming in, and Tobert has been just a great find and a great asset for this receiving core of Edmonton. Playing today with a bit of a hip pointer that he got last game, slows him down a bit, but he's one of those kind of guys, if you don't pay a lot of attention to him, every now and then he's going to come up and really snake bite you and make a big play.
He got his first CFL touchdown last week. That took a little of the sting out of the hip pointer. Tony Collier is in for Barry Wilburn in the secondary. And here's another incompletion looking for Gizmo Williams on 2nd and 10. And the Eskimos will have to punt it away. Midway through the second quarter, Allen and the green and gold leading by 2.
Chris, this is a personal opinion of mine, but Giz, he is such a threat on the outside, but he really only has one route, and that's the jet route. He uses speed. He's only caught 30 passes for 375 yards this season.
They block the Harper punt. It's picked up, Les Brown, and he's near the goal line. Touchdown. Charles Gordon with the block. It's the 5th kick block of the year for the BC Lions, and Les Brown has the touchdown.
Tell you what, Les Brown and the whole band of Renowns followed that ball into the end zone. Coming right at your face, right in your living room, folks. Harper just taking a normal drop, and as far as his steps, nobody's blocking. You saw 8 different people that had an opportunity to block that ball. Les Brown is the man that came up with it, and with his speed, was able to get it into the end zone.
Les Brown, the 11-year veteran, Charles Gordon, who is his sidekick in the secondary, Pasaglia with the extra point. Well, specialty teams, that's a huge play for BC, and they're celebrating as they regain the lead.
And BC will take it any way that you can. There's a good look. That's Gene Gaines, the defensive coordinator, secondary guy for the BC Lions. And also Jody Allen's in the middle of that, the special teams coach. And he has to be tremendously excited about the efforts of the whole team, but in particularly Les Brown coming in.
Again, it's 26, Charles Gordon with the block.
There's a term in football, you talk about you got to hot your man. That means your head on torso. So if you're blocking up front, you got to put your helmet right into the chest of the guy and at least make him stop. Edmonton did none of that across the board, and it just looked like a sieve going through there as BC defenders raced through. Gordon made the block, and Les Brown came up with the touchdown.
That was the first block kick against Edmonton this year. Bouncing kickoff to Lucius Floyd, who drops it, picks it up, Breaks 2 tackles. Tom Europe had the first shot at him, and finally down at the 39. Ricardo Washington finally brought Floyd down after a 24-yard return. 6:52 to go. First half, there's Charles Gordon. We talked a lot about him yesterday because I think the Eskimos felt they could do some things against Gordon, but the Lions were very defensive about how good Charles Gordon is.
Well, they really were. They thought when they looked inside, Edmonton Eskimos thought they saw Barry Wilburn on one side, a very physical and a good cover guy. They saw Charlie Gordon on the other side, knows he's a good cover guy, but he's not nearly as physical, so they went with the lesser of 2 evils.
First down, and there is a rollout for Allen, throwing to Michael Souls, and he did. No, it's loose, and they're now ruling an incomplete pass. Boy, that's a long time before they ruled incomplete, and the Lions thought they had a fumble recovery.
Tyrone Chapman in on the coverage.
Michael Souls is going to be lined up as the tight end just to the right of the screen, and the Sally Rand comes out, the naked bootleg all by itself. Now you can see how Michael Souls is fumbling around with the ball, trying to get possession, and he just doesn't seem like he ever had it. The referee was on the spot there, made the call as an incompleted pass.
So it's 2nd and 10, Edmonton. Here comes Snipes on the rush. He's picked up, and out in the flat, Souls has some room to roam. Breaking a couple of tackles into BC territory at the 44. 27 yards for Michael Souls, who, like Floyd, is a great threat receiving the ball out of the backfield.
Take a look how Michael Souls just filters out of the backfield. He's lined up on the tight end. He comes out. He has a natural pick out there by the outside receiver, which was Lee. And Damon Allen throws the ball on the money. Michael made a sure-handed catch of that pass.
First down, hand off to Lucius Floyd, and Angelo Snipes met him behind the line of scrimmage at 91. The sniper has had a pretty impressive first half.
The Snipers had a pretty impressive season since coming to the BC Lions. 11 sacks this year, 5th in the CFL.
With Barry Wilburn out, we've seen some movement in that secondary. Tony Collier has come in. He will play the corner, and they've moved Les Brown into Wilburn's spot. I guess that's an advantage when everybody's a natural corner. You can interchange like that.
But moving from the corner into the halfback, it can only be done by a true veteran like a guy like Les Brown, because it is so much integral than just playing the corner.
Allen in trouble, and Dave Chaters has him down for the sack. So 2 big defensive plays. First, it's Lucius Floyd dropped for a loss, and look at the intensity on Chaters as he gets his first playoff sack, his 3rd of the year.
Take a look at those eyes there. They'll get after you. Good coverage again in the secondary. They jammed off all the receivers as Damon Allen wanted to throw hot, forced him to have to reload it, and when he did, Dave Chaters was the guy there, puts Damon Allen on his back for his 3rd sack of the season.
3rd and 20. Let's see if they get another. Good pressure on, but Harper gets it away. There is a flag down with Darren Flutie scampering out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Flag down. We'll find out what that's all about when we return to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton.
Second quarter action on the goal line in Baltimore. Tracy Hammett, quarterback, hands off to Robert Drummond from 1 yard out, takes the plunge and scores for the CFLers. It's all tied up now. Toronto 10, Baltimore 10. Baltimore playing without running back Mike Pringle, out with a groin injury. Chris?
And Drummond, his replacement, going into the end zone. We'll continue to update you on that Eastern semi. Looks like it's a dandy. This one's been a beauty so far. McManus in trouble, just got it away. A receiver in the neighborhood. But Glenn Rogers was coming on the blitz, and he got to Danny McManus. And McManus is still down. And Kent Austin scrambles for a helmet and starts to warm up.
Glenn Rogers Jr. on the halfback blitz was able to catch Danny McManus at a very vulnerable position.
Kev, just watch Austin warming up here. Watch that. Remember, it's the left shoulder, the non-throwing shoulder, but he keeps that arm in very close to his body when he delivers the football. He told us prior to the game, no danger of it being re-injured, at least no more danger than any other quarterback. But when Glenn Rogers hits you, some damage can be done.
Just at the bottom of your screen, there's number 26 coming. Now you see McManus doesn't see him right to the last minute, but Rogers went down low, hits McManus in the legs, catches him in the right knee, and McManus is hurt definitely by the blow there, but McManus just did not have an opportunity to see Rogers coming on the blitz. And the fortunate thing for him is that right knee wasn't firmly planted on the ground, or else there could be some even serious damage, more serious damage, I should say, to that leg. Hopefully it's going to be okay for Danny McManus. Now take a look at the right side. Now here's the right leg. It's just coming off of the leg. His toes were just up, so he's able just to cut them out from under him. Had his weight been on the right leg, there would have been a potential for a much more serious injury.
Real tough blow for Danny McManus. And Dave Ridgway now, or Dave Ritchie, he's got a quarterback going into the game here in the second half who's already got a separated shoulder, and you have to be a little bit concerned on that Lions sideline right now. Well, let's check the numbers on Ken Austin. He was the #1 man most of the year. And a quarterback who has led a team to a Grey Cup championship, 89. In fact, when you think about Ken Austin, that 89 Western Final right here in Commonwealth Stadium is one of the highlights of his great CFL career. Nice to see some weight on that McManus leg.
Exactly. It's nice to see him walking off under his own power and actually putting some weight on it. But you got to think that Kent Austin likes the feeling of coming in with this kind of drama behind it. Not expected to start. Now all of a sudden, he's got the weight of this team and mostly the respect of this team right with him to come in and have something happen today.
Well, Austin against the Eskimos was 44-74, 519 yards, a touchdown, and a couple of interceptions. And very slowly, McManus to the sidelines. Julio Caravata is the #3 man on the depth chart for BC at quarterback. Under 4 minutes to go, first half. Lions with the lead. And Austin in on second down. And he throws a dart and a completion at the 35-yard line. And it's Ray Alexander with the catch. Well, Austin, I think, felt he was ready to start this football game and actually made the announcement to the media that he was not going to get the call from Dave Ritchie. There are his playoff numbers in 6 games. That is a live football. That is a lateral, and Flutie wisely batting it out of bounds, but that's the danger of that play. If the catch isn't made, it is up for grabs. And now Corey Philpott is down. So first McManus, and now Corey Philpott. And kept their ruling incomplete, and that's why the fans are showing their displeasure here. That should have been a lateral, but it returns to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, just going with that quick hitch screen again, but this time that pass was definitely behind Kent Austin. And as you said, Flutie did an excellent job in a heads-up play of batting that ball out of bounds. Take a look at the angle of the pass. And we just can't see, without a doubt, but the thing that you can see is the heads-up play of Flutie. Getting the ball out of bounds, and then right at the last minute, you can see the injury to Corey Philpott, #6.
2nd and 10 then as they return the football to the 35. Austin with some time, lots of time. And now over the middle to Ray Alexander. Trent Brown with the tackle, but it's into Edmonton territory at the 46-yard line. So Austin into the game in relief of an injured McManus and has 2 straight completions. We'll be right back.
He said he's going to try and play, but it's pretty sore.
A little cloud cover, but it is a gorgeous mid-November day in Edmonton, and we're at Commonwealth Stadium for this Western semifinal. The BC Lions with the football and the lead with 2:56 to go in this first half after a 29-yard completion from Austin to Alexander. First down, BC. Out in the flat, there's another completion. Matt Clark with the catch, but a short gain at the 43-yard line, 3 yards on the pickup. Damian Lyons is watching Matt Clark.
This will be the big key. This is the play prior to the last one that we saw. Now just look at the time that Ken Austin. Reload, look. Those defensive backs of Edmonton are only human, and these receivers of BC are very capable of finding the open spot, and anytime that Ken Austin has that kind of time to throw the ball, he's going to make something happen.
2nd and 7, everybody on the backfield. Millington over the middle, can't hang on. Started to run before he really had a good squeeze on the ball, and it finally dropped loose.
Just to the left of your screen, Sean Millington's going to come just on a delay pattern. He stumbles a bit off the line of scrimmage. The ball's ever so slightly thrown behind him, but he just doesn't concentrate, doesn't squeeze it. And more importantly for Edmonton, he's not able to pick up the first down.
It's 3rd down. And with the ball at the 43, it sets up a 50-yard field goal attempt for Louis Bisaglia, whose longest of the year was 46. Flutie holds. Does Louis have the leg? No, he's missed it to the left, and Gizmo's going to run it out. Here's Gizmo Williams, and he's cut down at the 5-yard line by Ryan Hansen. Nice tackle by Hansen. And the score remains 17-12 on the missed field goal.
Chris, I got to challenge that call right there to be able to run that ball out of the end zone. Louis was really struggling to try to kick it that far, and he did kick it wide. He had the foot to go with it. Giz obviously taking it on himself, trying to make something big happen, thinking that they need a big play right before they have to get in. But all of a sudden, you give up the single point, you're going to get the ball in excellent field position.
Yeah, and a 5 or 6 point lead at this point in the game is really not that critical. Instead at the 5, BC's defense tries to dig in, and that carry by Michael Souls is closed down immediately by Andrew Stewart and company. And now they start to heat up along the lines in the trenches. A few words exchanged either way. Boy, that took some time. We expected that a little earlier than this.
There's going to be a lot of words out there. Coach Ritchie said, you know, because earlier in the season, they signed an agreement, they said, about trying to keep their mouths shut on defense and trying to keep discipline and not take any cheap penalties. But all of a sudden in this game, tempers are going to be very, very close to the surface, and we're going to see a lot of them.
This is a big play. 2nd and 9. Edmonton backed up. Damon Allen looking deep, looking for Gizmo, and it's into the Eskimo bench. James Jefferson step for step with the Giz. 3rd down, and Edmonton forced to punt out of their end zone. 1:53 to go in the first half. I'll let you play coach here. You blocked one already. Do you go after Harper again, or do you set up a return?
I think Harper has to be thinking about it right now. There's one guy back, 11 guys up on the line of scrimmage. I think they'll go after it, and hopefully they're going to get good field position anyway.
On the play.
Movement along the line. BC jumped and then tried to jump back onside, but that time the play had been whistled down.
So they'll call offsides against BC. They'll take the 5-yard penalty. They're still going to have to kick the ball. It'll make it probably 3rd and about 2.
How can you call that when you've been caught up and down here?
Well, so far the Lions have done a pretty good job of avoiding penalties, and that's been a point of contention for Dave Ritchie all year.
Chris, they set a
Offside.
record last.
BC number 16, still third down.
They set a record last year, 223 penalties. This year, they set another record, 241 penalties.
Harper's still in the end zone, just not as deep. Here they come, and Harper gets away a high kick, but not deep. Flutie at the Edmonton 49, and they get him out of bounds immediately. Trent Brown led the surge downfield. So 1:44 to go. That's a 39-yard punt by Harper. And Austin, lots of time and great field position here to add to BC's lead.
Ken Austin does an excellent job of playing within himself. He'll take exactly what this defense is going to give him. He's not going to force any issues out there. And if he has to nickel and dime it down the field, the main thing that they want to do before this half is come away with some kind of points. 3 would be great, but also a touchdown would be even better.
Corey Philpott back in. And Philpott has the catch. Look at Pless trying to track him down again, but this time Philpott with a burst got by Pless. And has a first down. That's the first time they've been really able to spring Corey Philpott this afternoon.
Just a dump pass out into the flat. Now look at this. This is the standoff, the young gun and the old gun. Willie doesn't really believe that he's got that kind of burst, and he allows him to get to the outside, but Corey Philpott showed that he has an excellent change of gears and can get it upfield very quickly.
At the 35, BC first down in Edmonton territory. And Austin in the flat, and what a defensive play by Robert Holland. He was thinking 6 as he stepped in front of Sean Millington.
Now watch the out pattern here. The ball's thrown on the money. Robert Holland makes a great break on the ball. The left hand is around Millington in case he happens to miss the right hand with knocking it down. He still has an area in that left hand to grab some cloth and hopefully pull Millington down. But he came up with a great burst, and he closed very quickly and knocked that ball out of the sky.
Ron Lancaster said he's been his best deep back this year, 2nd and 10. Austin with time, looking deep, looking for Flutie, and it's over his head. Morris Lawler in coverage. 3rd down. Austin got 1 first down and got it into Pasaglia range. At the 35, it means Pasaglia will be attempting a 42-yarder with 1:27 left. And if Louis does not make it, it'll be interesting to see if Gizmo does put a knee down this time. And Pasaglia makes no mistake the second time and adds to the Lion lead with 1:23 to go here in the first half. It's BC up now by 8.
Chris, 19th season. Louis Pasaglia, 40 years old, all-time leading kicker in the history of this game. That is just, like, that's an amazing, just to even say that, to think of it's how hard it is to understand what that really means. And what a great guy he is, just a great individual and just a real down-to-earth, nice person.
He's got his team up by 8. As Edmonton goes back to work, the hit screen to Eddie Brown, and Collier out on that corner. Nice job by Tony Collier, the rookie. And it's no gain on the play. 2nd and 10, Collier taking over the corner. Les Brown's moved into Barry Wilburn's spot. Although Mark Brown reports that Wilburn has been warming up at the Lion bench, and we may see him back second half. Down to 1 minute remaining. First half here at Commonwealth Stadium. 2nd and 10, and out of the backfield, Floyd with the catch in front of Tom Europe. And it's enough for a first down. And it's a hurry-up offense for Edmonton. 53 seconds on the clock.
Now you saw the safety Europe coming to take the back out of the backfield. Edmonton's read that time as Damon can see if he finds him out of the middle. They'll take it downtown on the post pattern.
Allen called his own number. A flag goes down as Damon is tripped up at about the 47, maybe 2. But that flag in the Eskimo backfield. And it's a procedure call against Edmonton. Les Brown getting the options, and I would think he will decline.
Procedure. Edmonton number 33. Decline. Second down.
Floyd called for procedure. Allen got just a yard on the play. 2nd and 9. 34 seconds left. First half. There's Gizmo, the hitch screen, and Gizmo near midfield. He's going to be a yard, maybe 2, short of the first down. Charles Gordon with the tackle. It's one way to try and utilize Gizmo's speed.
Well, you try to get him out there, but the defense really reacted quickly to him. They knew they had 10 yards to play with.
27 seconds left, and Edmonton has called a timeout.
Well, it's 3rd and about a yard and a half, it looks like, so it's a big call. You can see Coach Lancaster on your left. That's Joe Pow, who played for a number of years for the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughrider, the offensive coordinator just on the right.
What would you do here? Because if you're stopped, you give BC a chance to put more points on the board, but if you get the 2 yards, you're not too far away from field goal range.
My call would be to go for it.
Ron Lancaster not in that gambling spirit. It's over a yard.
You and he must come from the same school. Fairly conservative, I think, on your betting.
Well, in this case, I think I side with the head coach.
That would make some play-action pass inside and just ran Damon Al out there on that Sally Ran and give him the option of either running it or passing it to pick up the first down.
Not a great Harper punt. And Flutie steps it out at the 21.
Not a good punt, but he did get a good BC bounce. I mean, a good Edmonton bounce that forced Flutie back just a little further. 20 seconds to go, Chris.
And with that in mind, there's Austin's numbers since he's come in to replace Danny McManus. 20 seconds left. Does he just kill the clock, or does he try to get a couple of quick completions? He does have an 8-point lead.
Lions first and 10. Ball just outside.
I think the Lions wouldn't mind taking 8 points to the dressing room.
Well, they surely would, but I think at some point that, you know, that would be the safe, conservative thing to do, and that's exactly what they are going to do, Chris.
Austin takes the lead.
There's a bit of a smile on your face. What brings that to you?
I just know you're a kind of a Mississippi, kind of a riverboat gambler.
I'd stand back and take it downtown if it was me. But that's not me, and that's why I'm up in the booth, and that's why those guys are down there on the side.
Yes, a conservative tide prevailing here in the final minute for both teams. And we've had a good first half of football, and nobody wants to make a mistake now that might alter the course of this game dramatically.
Well, and Edmonton has made some mistakes through the course of this game. Some missed tackles to allow Millington to get in, a missed coverage with a long pass to Clark.
Please reset the game clock to 18 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 18 seconds.
And the third thing that is very glaring was the block punt for the Edmonton Eskimos. The good thing for BC is that they have taken every one of those mistakes and capitalized on it.
So it's 2nd down, and they will just let the clock run down here. Austin puts the knee down, and that will do it for the opening 30 minutes of this Western semifinal. And Dave Ritchie has to like what he's seen so far. He got the big specialty teams play, the block kick, the offense moving. The only concern, McManus is already hurt, and Ken Austin playing with a separated shoulder. But BC has the lead as we go down to Mark.
Chris, Saskatchewan head coach Ray Yock is standing by in our Calgary studios to look ahead at tomorrow's Western Semi between the Rough Riders and Stampeders. We'll also update you on the first half in Baltimore between Baltimore and Toronto. We'll be back to Edmonton right after this. Back at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the Lions lead the Eskimos by 8 at halftime. Well, tomorrow at this time, we will be in Calgary for Game 2 of the Western semifinals. 4th place Saskatchewan, the underdogs, against the league-leading Calgary Stampeders. The Stamps have been installed as 14.5-point favorites in this game. That's no surprise. But who would have predicted at the beginning of this season that the Saskatchewan Roughriders would be in the playoffs, considering the massive off-season defections of outstanding star players in key role positions on both offense and defense? Head coach Ray Yock left behind to put this football team together, and he has done a miraculous job of bringing a family of football players together in Regina. The Rough Riders were gutted. Austin, Bayless, Fairholm, Wilburn, Hendrickson, gone. Ray Yock, the only coach left behind in the Don Matthews exodus. Quarterback Tom Burgess, the only compensation for Kent Austin, leaving huge holes.
We really haven't, from the start, had any superstars that sort of demanded all the limelight. We've been kind of a close-knit group that who knows who's gonna be the star this week, who's gonna step up and get it done.
Record-breaking slot back Ray Elgard would be the offensive cornerstone around which Yock fashioned a major rebuilding program.
We have different players in the team, and a different makeup of players results in a different team atmosphere and a different team character. You know, the coaches have come in and done good jobs, but they're asking the same things that other coaches always have.
Elgard would take backup Dan Farthing under his wing. Farthing's task to fill the shoes of Jeff Fairholm.
Everyone has just pulled together, and we've done it since the start of the year, only it hadn't really showed until the latter stages of the year, and hopefully we can carry that on into the playoffs.
In Regina, they call it Rider Pride. They are perhaps a less talented team than last year, but they posted the identical winning record.
We do things as a team. We go places as a team. We do everything as a team, which is great. You have to have a team. We don't have a bunch of superstars on our football team. We just have guys that like to go out there and get the job done.
This year is a lot more family atmosphere on the team. You know, the guys aren't so concerned with who's going to play from one week to the next. I think guys have gotten accustomed to that, and it's a lot different from the way it was around here last year.
And joining us live from Calgary, Saskatchewan head coach Ray Yock, the man who has retooled this Rough Rider football team. Ray, you guys finished 11-7, the identical record that the Riders had last year. But what were your expectations coming into the season because of all of the key players you lost?
Well, I really didn't know what was going to happen, but you know, I thought if we could be 5-4 at the middle of the season, we'd have a run at making the playoffs. And I thought maybe 9-9 might make the playoffs, but really it wouldn't have been good enough. So we're very fortunate that we're here. A tribute to the players and the coaches, assistant coaches.
Ray, your style has been described as fatherly, very relaxed. Your own players saying things like, we're a team again. There's a family atmosphere. What do you think they're talking about? What's different about the atmosphere in Regina this year as opposed to last under Don Matthews?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the players would be the best judge of that. What we try to do and what I've always tried to do is have a team. I think it's a team game, and you have to have people that are unselfish, that are willing to sacrifice their own needs for the good of the team, and we have a great bunch of guys that have done that. Certainly we don't have the ability in certain individual stars that we did last year, but we have a great team atmosphere, and we make up for maybe a little lack of ability here and there, and everybody doing a little bit more and pulling together, and I think that's been a significant thing of our football team all year long.
Now, Saskatchewan surprised Calgary in the first game of this season. You guys won 22-21. You're 14.5-point underdogs in this game. The odds makers obviously don't give you very much chance of beating Calgary. What do you think your chances are?
Well, I tell you what, every time we go out, these guys amaze me, and you know, we'll be in the ball game, we'll be battling. I can't say whether they're going to win or lose. Certainly Calgary has got a great football team. I think they're a stronger team than they were last year. They're very, very good on both sides of the football, and particularly defensively. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have lost sight of because of their great offense. But certainly our guys are going to battle, and I'll tell you what, Calgary will know they're in a football game when the game is over, and hopefully, who knows, maybe the thing will go our way.
Well, Ray, you've done a fantastic job building this football team this year. A lot of learned observers in the CFL are touting you for Coach of the Year. Good luck tomorrow against Calgary.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark.
Ray Yock, the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, joining us live from Calgary, where we will be tomorrow afternoon for Game 2 of the Western semifinals, the Stampeders versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders from McMahon Stadium in Calgary. It's BC in front of Edmonton, 20-12 at the half here in Edmonton. When we come back, we'll update Baltimore. Back at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the Lions lead the Eskimos by 8 at the half. In Baltimore on the eastern seaboard this afternoon, the first of the eastern semifinals, Baltimore versus Toronto. The first time a playoff game has ever been played on American soil. The Quasi Colts going into this game without record-breaking running back Mike Pringle in the lineup. He injured his groin on the final game of the season against Sacramento. This is the latest scoring drive as Baltimore takes the lead for the first time. Late second half action. Tracy Ham in the pocket, lots of time, and he finds slot back Chris Armstrong diving in the end zone for the touchdown, and that puts Baltimore in front 18-10 in this game. The Argos had led until this time. Modine with a touchdown, Wayne Lamley with a field goal. Robert Drummond, replacing Mike Pringle at running back for Baltimore, has the other Quasi-Colt touchdown. An 8-point lead there, an 8-point lead here in Edmonton. And for their first half highlights, let's go to the booth and join Chris and Danny.
Well, Mark, the difference, it's the visitors with the 8-point lead here. A lot of the stats are just about even kept, but I look back at your tail of the tape. Specialty teams have been big, and it's been BC with the edge so far.
Well, it really has. Anytime that you thought that a team that has Gizmo Williams on their team, you're going to get the edge there. But a couple of big mistakes. A blocked punt that Edmonton had, and then also Gizmo bringing the ball out of the end zone when Louis tried a very long field goal over 50 yards.
Let's look at the highlights of the first half and the big run by Sean Millington.
Millington showed a lot of finesse there as he's able to get the ball outside and good quick feet. He's able to show some explosion, but just watch the poor tackling here. One miss by Wilson, then all of a sudden he runs right by Glenn Rogers Jr. and he gets the ball in the end zone.
But Eddie Brown came back, answered that for the Eskimos.
It was important to get Eddie Brown into the game, as I've mentioned a couple of times in this ball game so far, and get him in early. And this is what happens when you get him focused in to doing what he can do best, and that's get the ball in the end zone.
60-yard touchdown, but here's the difference in the football game so far. The block punt by Charles Gordon.
You can take a look here. It could have been any one of three guys that could have blocked this, but no one made an attempt to even block Gordon. And all of a sudden, Les Brown comes up with the big turnover and is able to get the ball in the end zone, and it scores for the BC Lions.
And the Lions take an 8-point lead into the second half. Mark?
Chris, here's the latest from the BC locker room. Danny McManus suffered a contusion, a deep bruise on the right side of his right knee and thigh. He is doubtful for the second half. The teams are back on the field, and we'll have the kickoff when we return.
All four Western finals in the 90s have pitted Calgary and Edmonton. BC with an 8-point lead as we start the second half as they try to alter the look of the Western final in 94. Lucius Floyd on the return up to the 40-yard line. Spencer McLennan, the electrician from Kelowna, with the tackle downfield as Damon Allen comes on to start the second half. As we look at Damon's numbers through 30 minutes of football, and remember, 60 yards came on the Eddie Brown touchdown.
And a lot of those completions just happened on those little hitch screens that were not really significant, other than the fact that it got the two guys that they wanted to get into the game early, Eddie Brown and Gizmo Williams. It got them active.
At the 41, the Eskimo offense goes to work. Allen with some time off the back foot. Mike Lee didn't hang on. And Lee slow to get up.
He took a helmet right in the back, and I guarantee he'll be slow to get up.
Lee shaking up.
Sandusky already out. Lee took his spot. And quickly Ian Hallworth, the trainer, is out to attend to Mike Lee.
Check the left knee of Newby, number 94. And that's a big left knee. That's 6'2", 231 pounds, hitting him and it catches him right in the one area. As far as a football player is concerned, he has padding almost everywhere, but right in the back, in the kidney area, there is not too much padding back there, particularly for these receivers, because they want to stay as light as they can and be as fleet-footed as they can.
Well, let's assess what Allen has done so far. Last time at home against BC, he was just 10 of 34 for 131 yards. The number's better today, and you can see that Lucius Floyd and Michael Souls have done about half the work catching the football out of the backfield. Brown and Williams have 3 catches apiece. But he's at 50% going into the second half. That's about the point he usually has as a completion percentage on the year, and they're going to have to carry Mike Lee off. And Mark Tobert will come in.
But Damon just waits and waits and waits, and it's a hit screen and it's thrown low, but Newby goes down to make the tackle, and you can see the left knee, boom, just right in the middle and the small of the back. And that's why Mike Lee was carried off.
And there's the youngster out of the University of Alberta, Mark Tobert, who comes in at the wideout position. He had a great game against the Argos here at Commonwealth Stadium in the second half. Here's Allen. First time today we've seen him scramble, and David Allen caught before he got to the first down marker. Tommy Europe, the safety out of Bishop's University, stopped Allen shy of the first down.
Now this BC defense is doing a tremendous job, particularly on first down. They're shutting it down completely. They're putting Damon Allen in a second and long situation. Then they rise up. They don't have to challenge so much. They don't have to take as many gambles. They can let the play happen in front of them and then react to it and make the tackle short of the first down, as they just did on Damon Allen. Excellent open field tackle by Tommy Europe. He was complimented yesterday by Coach Ritchie, saying that could be the best tackler, technique tackler that I have on the team.
Here's Darren Flutie. And once again, great downfield coverage. These two teams did not really allow a big punt return in their series either way during the regular season. And just a 2-yard return that time for Darren Flutie. Todd Herget out of BYU with the tackle. The statistics through 30 minutes of football, and again, just about even. Eskimos with an edge in time of possession kept, but were not able to do a lot with it.
The only thing it doesn't show there is mistakes, missed tackles, blocked kicks, those kind of things that you need to show. Those are the intangibles. You have to be focused and disciplined.
Austin hands off to Philpott on the first play for BC from scrimmage in this second half. Benny Goods tackling Philpott. Austin did not start, but when McManus went down on the hit from Glenn Rogers, he came in and is at 50% as well so far.
And that's just about on par for what he's done the whole season. He's just about 57% through the course of the season, and that's after 317 completions.
Second down, and the pass behind Flutie. Incomplete. Glenn Rogers, Larry Ruck in on the coverage, and that brings up third down. So both defenses look sharp to start this second half.
Ball thrown ever so slightly behind, but it allowed Larry Ruck just to get his hands out. He just got in the way, and he may have touched that ball and just deflected it ever so slightly down below, and the ball was unable to be caught. Had Ken Austin had a little more zip on it, able to get it out there another foot or two, that was an easy completion.
Bisaglia on third down. And here's Gizmo from his 45. And again, the Lions, exceptional downfield coverage, led by Tyrone Chapman, the linebacker, bringing down Gizmo Williams. 41-yard punt for Bisaglia. We join Mark Lee.
Chris, at the Eastern semifinal in Baltimore, Argo kicker Wayne Lamley has been caught in the end zone for a 2-point safety touch, so make it Baltimore 20, Argos 10 at the half.
First and 10 for the Eskimos, ball at their own 44-yard line.
Argos had that 7-point lead early, but Don Matthews' side storming back. Here the home side down by 8, 3 minutes into the third quarter. Damon Allen pumps once, now delivers, and Tobert stretched out, couldn't bring it in. Oh, that was shades of last year. Kept that pump fake by Allen that was so successful, particularly in the Western Final.
Did an excellent job with pump faking and then going downtown to Sandusky, but this time it's a post pattern, quick slant pattern, just past the outstretched hands again of the young rookie, Mark Tobert.
But the challenge there for Damon Allen against BC, Dave Ritchie said that his defenses have always played tough against Allen, and that's been the case.
And he likes that. That's a good look at Joe Powell on the sideline, the offensive coordinator, marking out some orders.
2nd and 10, Allen has an open Eddie Brown in front of Charles Gordon with the catch and a first down into BC territory at the 53.
A lot of things are said about Eddie Brown, but one thing you can truly say about him is he is a big player as far as a big-time player. He likes the big ball games. He likes the pressure when it's on him. And when you need a clutch reception, when it's 2nd and long, he wants to be the guy to have those hands on the ball.
4 catches for number 4, 91 yards. First down, Edmonton. Hitch screen almost picked off, and it is! No, incomplete. Les Brown had a hand on it. It went through the outstretched hands of Angelo Snipes. And somehow it fell to the turf, and the Eskimos come out unscathed. Wow.
And Damon's just going to jump up and throw. He doesn't even take a look, and these guys are playing this play. They've seen it. They're keyed to formation. That gives them a pre-snap read of hopefully what they're going to do. That's the whole name of the game of defense, is anticipation, and Snipes almost anticipated that to make another big play for the BC defense.
Kept by the end of the play, looked like Eddie Brown was playing defense. 2nd and 10, Damon Allen looking deep, looking for Gizmo Williams, and nice defensive play, recovering by James Jefferson. Looked like Gizmo had a step, but Mr. Jefferson takes a bow after recovering for BC.
If you take a look at how this play starts out, Damon Allen's going to run. He's going to want to scramble. And as he starts to scramble, he's going to run. And you can see Giz downfield, but he just doesn't have the ability to plant his feet and put a little more oomph on the ball. Giz had Jefferson beat by about 3 steps, but Jefferson showed some great closing speed and panic speed to get his hands on the ball.
Harper with a beauty. Flutie from his 2. Out across the 10-yard line, but BC stopped up deep. The tackle made by Errol Martin. 4.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter at Commonwealth Stadium. I don't know about you, Kep, but when I come to Edmonton and think about playoff action, I think about Warren Moon.
Well, I can tell you what, that big moon pie had a lot to do with the success of the Edmonton Eskimos, and he'll have a lot to do with the success of the Minnesota Vikings.
BC starts deep. Here comes the rush. Austin gets it away. He's looking deep, and a little jostling down the sideline. Some nice defensive coverage by Morris Lawler on Ray Alexander.
Chris, I got to say, it seems to me that's pretty uncharacteristic of Ken Austin to come in there, play action pass, trying to go for the home run ball. You know, and some guys will give him a knock that he doesn't have the arm strength. It's almost like, well, I'm going to show you that I have it. I'm going to throw the ball deep instead of coming out there, being able to nickel and dime it and do the things that he does really, really good. But now he puts BC in a situation. Here's 2nd and long, and this Edmonton defense will get after him on this play.
He'll operate out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. He gets it away. Alexander high makes the catch and is drilled out of bounds at the 20, maybe the 19. In any event, he's short of the first down thanks to Morris Lawler's coverage. BC will again have to punt after their 2nd possession of this 2nd half.
Lawler does an excellent job of playing the route that Ray Alexander runs, and then closes very quickly, makes a solid tackle, and gets him out of bounds before he's able to pick up the first down and forces Louis to have to kick the ball away.
Alexander was BC's leading receiver against Edmonton during the regular season. Bisaglia kicking it. Line drive could give Gizmo a chance. Trying to get outside. BC stretching it out. And again, do the job against Gizmo. Mike Trevathan, the hard-nosed receiver, limited the return to 8. Just a 35-yard Bisaglia punt.
Kristen, as you said, the stretch is out. This is the main thing. Giz wants to get to the wall, but all of a sudden, Sean Flutie, number 22, is just on the outside. See, he has contained. He plays it outside. He forces Gizmo to have to go outside, but then all of a sudden, the pursuit is able to come in there and make the tackle before Giz can get it upfield.
But look where Edmonton starts. At the BC 46. Play action. Allen stepped up and just got back to the line of scrimmage. Virgil Robertson tackling Allen for no gain.
Again, I know I'm sounding repetitive and redundant about the fact that now BC again has done an excellent job on 1st and 10. It is 2nd and long. Now it really opens up what that BC defense can do. They don't have to gamble as much. They can sit back, force Damon Allen to have to run the ball himself, then come up and make the tackle.
2nd and 10. The handoff to Floyd. Picks his way up the middle. Lucius Floyd broke a tackle and has a first down at the 31. That's a big run for Lucius Floyd to move the yardsticks and move the football into scoring position. 15-yard gain for Floyd.
Good job by the Edmonton offense on this point of making the block, but BC got them to do exactly what they wanted to do. 2nd and long, you just run a straight belly or a straight dive play, come up and make the tackle on these guys. Some poor tackling by the BC Lions this time allowed Edmonton to come up with a big play.
Joe Paopao, the offensive coordinator, sending in messages. First down, looks one way, and now Allen in trouble. He is so smooth, though, and steps out of bounds. Got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a couple more. Damon Allen playing out his option, and you look at it with a BC lead. It could be his last home game at Commonwealth Stadium. Who knows?
Well, I think you're making a very profound statement right there, because I don't know if Edmonton has the capabilities to sign this guy to the kind of money he's probably going to demand. Obviously, he knows that right now this is the time to make his stock value go up, and he has to have some big games in the playoffs as the defending Grey Cup champion. And this kind of play here is not going to help the stock price.
And Drew Stewart got through to sack Damon Allen back at the 37-yard line, so the Lions defense rises up again. Big play by Stewart, who has been a thorn in Allen's side this year. He knocked him out of a game earlier this year, and a bruised shoulder plagued Allen through the second half of the season because of Stewart. And so Sean Fleming is in to attempt a field goal from 44 yards out. This is the 3rd time today where Edmonton had possession in good field position, and BC forces them into these 40-plus field goals.
In a sense, this is a big victory for the BC defense and the BC team itself.
Nevertheless, Fleming gets 3 back for Edmonton. 7:06 to go, 3rd quarter. It's 20-15 BC.
At the East semifinal, Baltimore still leads Toronto by a score of 20-10 in the 3rd quarter. This was the scene at halftime when Willie Burton on the right made a special presentation to Mike Pringle of Baltimore on the left. Pringle, of course, breaking Burton's single-season rushing record of 1,896 yards this season. The new total, 1,972. Chris?
Here's the give to Sean Millington as BC took the football at the 35-yard line, and Millington dives for a couple. Errol Martin with the stop. You used to play high school football against Willie, didn't you?
I sure did. I tell you what, that's the first time I think I've ever seen Willie's face where I've seen him from behind. It wasn't a pretty picture, but I played high school ball against Willie. I played college ball against Willie. Willie played at North Carolina State. And then I had a chance. The first game I ever played in Canada was against Edmonton, and then Edmonton against Calgary against Willie Burton.
How come he looks so much younger than you? Here's Austin over the middle to Millington. Broke a tackle, and that is A first down for BC because of Millington's second effort. He ran over Larry Ruck, and that doesn't happen very often.
Willie's led a sheltered life a little bit, just to answer your question. But here's a play that we saw earlier that Sean Millington dropped. Now it's up in his face where he can see it. He makes a good squeeze, and the usually sure tackling Larry Ruck comes up, and it just shows you what kind of strength that Sean Millington has at 6'3", 230.
BC with a 5-point lead. Austin going deep, and he had Darren Flutie open, but overthrew the receiver. And it'll be second down. Ken Austin, 31 years of age. We mentioned the brilliant performance here 5 years ago in the '89 Western Final, but he's trying to erase the bad memory of a year ago when Saskatchewan was thumped here at Commonwealth Stadium in the semifinal. Second and 10 in the crowd, encouraging the defense to come up with a stand. Austin just got it away. Flutie at the sidelines, and they say no catch. Didn't get a foot down, and that brings up third down. Darren Flutie has been the favorite target again today, as he's been all season long for BC.
Take a look at Ken Austin's throwing motion. Now he has to throw that ball a long, long way, and it kind of floats and it sails on him. But right at the last minute, you can see the reception is made, but the foot comes down on the wide area of the out of bounds. That was a good call.
Bisaglia. Ball bouncing out of bounds. No chance for Gizmo to return it. And at the 24, Edmonton will start there.
This is the kind of perfect kind of kick that Louis wants to do. He pooches it to the left and kicks it out of bounds. But when Edmonton does get the ball, they get the ball 1st and 10 on the 25 as opposed to the 45 or the 50.
It's a great word, pooch.
Pooch, I like that.
1st and 10 for the green and gold.
He's been pooching for a long time.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the nickname of Scott Hendrickson over in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
Pooch, getting ready today.
Tomorrow, McMahon Stadium. Saskatchewan and Calgary in the other semi. First down, Allen. Looking for Gizmo, incomplete. Tony Collier there defensively for the BC Lions. Another semifinal tomorrow will be in Winnipeg. Rough Riders and Blue Bombers.
Very lazy kind of route, and you can see that ball is thrown right on the money. It hits Giz right dead in the chest and bounces loose. Collier giving Giz a lot of room. He'll make it. He'll make him throw the short route to it, and then Collier will come up and make the tackle. He's just not going to give that speedster the home run ball as he runs by him.
Damon now 12 of 28, 192 yards, 2nd and 10 over the middle. And again, Collier and Gizmo matched up, and Collier wins the battle. Tony Collier pressed into action with the injury to Barry Wilburn in the first half. And Gizmo and the Eskimos have not been able to capitalize on that change in the defensive secondary of BC.
Good technique by Collier that time. Stayed in his back pedal. When Giz made the break, he was able to make a good close on that and knock the ball loose.
Ball bouncing to Darren Flutie. And on the exchange of possessions, BC has it now at the 49-yard line. Brian Walling with the tackle for Edmonton.
The Eskimo team store in the south end.
Back at Commonwealth Stadium, BC quarterback Danny McManus trying to limber up, working on the right knee, but he is still limping noticeably on the BC sideline. Barry Wilburn also back on the bench, but he's all battened down with his warm-up coat. He still has a lot of pain with bruised ribs. The latest from the Edmonton bench, Mike Lee has a bruised lower back, but he could be back.
First down, Austin throwing, and Don Wilson with the knockdown in front of Corey Philpott. And Kep, you can just feel the defense is taking over in this third quarter.
Well, Chris, you know, I'm trying to be fairly unbiased up here as I can, but you know that defenses are what's going to win championship games, and both of these teams out there have great ones. Donnie Wilson is another guy. We just saw Willie Burden. Donnie Wilson also played his college ball at North Carolina State and has been a tremendous asset since coming in that trade. 8 for 8. A long time ago, it seems.
2nd and 10. Austin really hit, but got away the completion. And it's Darren Flutie with the catch, but Kent Austin took a shot. He's up, though.
This is the thing about BC's offense at the time. They know where Kent Austin is going to line up. And this Edmonton defense is able to tee off on him as he stood right in the pocket. He knew he was going to take a shot. And Malvin Hunter, 6'2", 230, just put the bricks to him.
First down, Philpott. Almost ran into Austin. He has not been able to spring loose on a rushing play this afternoon. They mark it at the 54, and it's a gain of 3.
One of the key things I noticed with Corey Philpott usually always lined up about 8 or 10 yards deep because he has such a great burst of speed. As you saw in that last play, he almost ran right by Kent Austin before the handoff got there.
2nd and 7. Austin stands in, pass, and Philpott almost got it on the ricochet. There is a flag down. Boy, Corey Philpott, almost an opportunistic play there. He was not the intended receiver. Willie Pless a little slow to get up after putting the heat on Austin.
Procedure, BC number 6, decline, 3rd down.
Would have been all for naught anyway. 3rd down. Philpott called for procedure, declined by Edmonton.
The ball floats on Kent Austin, and it gets tipped, and almost, as you said, tipped right into the hands of Corey Philpott. Benny Goods is coming on some hit. Larry Ruck takes a shot at him high.
Bisaglia kicking it away. Every time you give Gizmo a chance, you never know, he could bust it. That's his best return so far today, up to the 35-yard line. Tony Collier with the tackle, 2:19 to go, 3rd quarter. It's a 5-point BC lead and an 18-yard return for Gizmo Williams.
And that will be a very contented feeling for Coach Dave Ritchie if his specialty teams can hold Henry Gizmo Williams to an 18-yard return, being his best of the day.
Been a good start to our playoff weekend. Baltimore leading Toronto 20-10, 3rd quarter. And it's 20-15 here for the visiting BC Lions. Allen looking deep, airing it out, looking for Eddie Brown, and he overthrew his intended receiver by a couple of yards with Les Brown, step for step.
And Les is just taking him right down and talking to him. The whole, said, don't you understand? I lead the league in interception. I'm 35 years old. You can't run by me.
2nd and 10.
Well, tomorrow, more great semifinal action will be at McMahon Stadium, where Doug Flutie and the Stampeders, the best in the West during the regular season, take on Ray Yawk and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And as Mark described at halftime, a great year for the Riders, and they're not content with just 11-7. They'd like to make some noise at McMahon tomorrow. 2nd and 10. Eddie Brown's got the catch and a 1st down. Up at the 53-yard line, Charles Gordon brings Brown down. But that's a 100-yard receiving day, and now Damon Allen on the limp. Damon Allen on the limp. Let's see what happened. Chater's rolling into him.
A couple of guys getting blocked into one another. That's Craig Hendrickson making a block on Dave Chater's. And he just rolls right into that left knee of Damon Allen that was planted.
First down, Eskimos. Allen drops back and has Lucius Floyd, Tyrone Chapman with the tackle at the BC 52-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
This is a little better play selection, I think, for Damon Allen, just utilizing these backs coming up underneath the coverage. You can see the ball almost pops loose. Could have been an incompleted pass, I think. That ball hit the ground. Lucius Floyd did not seem to ever have pure control of that ball.
2nd down, Edmonton. Down by 5, need 5 yards, and they get it. And more to Michael Souls. Well, we mentioned coming in that it's Eddie Brown plus the 2 guys coming out of the backfield. And on this drive, Damon Allen has hit Brown, Floyd, and now Souls.
And this really puts BC in a tough spot when he starts going toward these backs a little bit more. If the linebackers aren't able to cover him, then he's got to get the halfback and primarily the safety involved in man-to-man coverage. And then that opens up that whole field for Eddie Brown and Gizmo Williams.
Should be the final play. Third quarter, Allen delivers it incomplete. Looked like it was intended for Tobert over his head and dropping shy of Eddie Brown. Allen a little slow to get up. It's been a punishing third quarter. Defense is ruling, and the Lions with a 5-point lead.
Third quarter action in the East, and Robert Drummond is proving more than an able replacement at running back for the injured Mike Pringle. Here he takes the handoff from Tracy Ham, goes straight through a group of Argo tacklers into the end zone, 33 yards for his second touchdown on the day. Baltimore takes command of this game, 27-10 with 3:09 to go in the third quarter. Chris?
Here's 2nd and 10. Edmonton as we start the fourth quarter. Here comes the rush on Allen. And Damon Allen will take off. And Allen, who was on the limp moments ago, looked pretty good there.
Chris, right at the last minute. Now, Les Brown made a move to try to make a tackle on Damon Allen and pulled up limp, and he's on the sideline. That's a crucial loss for BC. But here's what Damon Allen does, and he does it extremely well, and probably as good as anybody's ever done it in the CFL. Comes in there, takes a good look down the sideline. Nobody's there, and he's able to take it on his own. But Les Brown really went down quite quickly, and he was holding his left knee.
11-year veteran, the all-time leading receptor and interceptor, and with a shot at Allen, just the left leg buckled.
Just looked like at some point he just planted and was pushed off, and somewhere just something gave on him in that knee joint or the hamstring area. You just don't know for sure. We'd hate to speculate up here in the booth.
Well, it's a real problem now with Wilburn on the sidelines already. And now Les Brown, unless Wilburn will return, well, he's going to. Otherwise, you got to go with Sean Cooney.
You walk over. This is a guy that's been around the league a long time. Now, he played for the Washington Redskins. He's an all-pro. He wears a Super Bowl ring. He has all. You come to him as Dave Ritchie and say, look, I need you. You got to be a veteran. You got to be a man. You got to get out there and play for me right now and get the job done. I don't care how much it hurts. And that's exactly, to his credit, what Barry Wilburn's going to do, it looks like.
This is Dave Ritchie's kind of football game. The defenses have been tough on both sides this afternoon, but Ritchie concerned about Les Brown right now.
This is certainly not the way, knowing Les and know what kind of class act he is, that he wants to leave this ball game having somebody help him off the field.
What a recovery, though, for Allen, who was limping at the end of the third quarter. And here in the fourth quarter, Allen's run has the Eskimos threatening. We'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium. Well, the road to the Grey Cup goes through the home of the defending champions, the Edmonton Eskimos, and of course will be played in the home of the BC Lions 2 weeks from tomorrow as they load Les Brown into the cart. Fourth quarter just underway. From Wilburn over to lend support to Les Brown, and if the Lions don't win today, this will be it for Les Brown, who is going to retire at the end of the year. And as we've stated from the outset, it is that close, every department.
Good, strong defensive game, a couple of big plays offensively, but the consistency has been on the defensive side of the ball, and there is one real key ingredient to the success of the BC defense this year, Les Brown.
And of course, Les with the touchdown earlier on the block kick. First down. This is the deepest either offense has been in the second half. Edmonton at the BC 30. Allen tried to hit the hot, and he's been chased down. down, and he's back at the 41. Big defensive play. And the man who got to him is Virgil Robertson.
We'll also credit the BC defense.
3 sacks during the regular season, and the rookie linebacker.
Damon wants to hit it hot, but there's nobody there. Everybody's played press defense. They jump up on the man, they take the hot away, and then this defense that was rushing upfield, led by Virgil Robertson, just stayed disciplined, stayed outside, stayed in contained, and was able to put Damon Allen on his back.
Loss of 11, 2nd and 21, and Sean Foodie now in at safety for BC. Allen loading it up, now bringing it down. Tried to get outside, tripped up by Tyrone Chapman. Damon Allen got it to the 35. That's in Sean Fleming range.
Gain of 6 on the play.
6-yard gain.
3rd and 15 now.
But Chapman's tackle makes it a little bit tougher for Fleming. You'll have to work for this one.
Coach Lancaster, we were talking about Fleming and how well he's kicked this year for the Edmonton Eskimos and the confidence that he has. And you remember that comment that he made last year when he came in, he's talking about, well, about halfway through the season, he said, I'll have my confidence down. And Coach says, yeah, he said, halfway through the season, we could be 0-10, and all it depends on having your confidence. But he has acquired that, and they may even look to him to possibly do both jobs next year. Who would know? He's got a very strong leg.
Yep, BC's called a timeout here, and I don't think it's a timeout Dave Ritchie really wanted to use with 13 and a half minutes to go.
Question is, why would you call a timeout?
John Brandenburg.
Don't think he had the full complement on the field, and that's a mental error you don't want to make at this point in the game. Now they're set, and Fleming will attempt this from 42. All 4 attempts from a bit about this range. And Fleming misses. And BC, Spencer McLennan will happily give up the single point and goes out untouched, so it's now a 4-point game. But that is a tough miss for Fleming. And it keeps BC up by more than a field goal. Welcome back to Edmonton. We're in for a great finish here. 13-18 to go, 4th quarter. It's a 4-point lead now for the BC Lions, 20-16 after the Fleming single on the missed field goal. He's missed 2 so far today. And BC takes over at their own 35. Austin, quick hitter to Darren Flutie, and he was belted by Robert Holland. Flutie gets 6.
Gain of 7 on the play.
And they'll mark at the 42 and give Flutie 7.
This is an Edmonton defense that wants to be known and respected, to be intimidators. And Robert Holland comes up and tries to make his presence known. But to his credit, great reception holding on to the ball.
Darren Flutie has 7 catches so far, 75 yards, 2nd and 4. Another quick hitter, and it's Millington across midfield. And the big fullback thunders down to the Edmonton 40. Sean Millington, the fullback, has been a big man in the BC offense, 29 yards.
You may not have to throw the ball out to the outs or anything if you can read defenses as well as Ken Austin. Look at that release. Quick read, he reads the hot. And Millington, now he broke a tackle earlier against Larry Ruck. This time he runs right through a tackle by the sure tackling Willie Pless and picks up big yardage, keeps the drive and the chains moving for the BC Lions.
Former first-round CIAU Canadian draft choice of the Edmonton Eskimos. Millington gets it again. And he's to the 35. Pickup of 5. Willie Pless the tackle. Pless with 6 tackles in the first half alone. And a knockdown pass. But where Philpott has not provided that spark in the backfield, Millington has for BC this afternoon.
But the kind of thing that Philpott offers that outside threat, and Millington is working inside.
2nd and 5, Austin under the shotgun, just gets it away and almost picked off. Leroy Blue had a hand on Austin and almost forced an interception. It'll be third down, but thanks to back-to-back plays to Millington, they're in field goal range.
Leroy Blue does an excellent job. Vic Stevenson, the right tackle's back in there, but it's just a speed rush outside and gets the right hand caught just by Kent Austin, and Kent Austin is very lucky that wasn't intercepted by Willie Pless downfield, but it does allow for a field goal attempt by Louis Prosaglia.
From 42 yards out. Louis puts it up and he misses. So both field goal kickers have missed, and Gizmo quickly concedes the single point. So the kickers have not distinguished themselves in the fourth quarter. Here's Mark Lee.
Chris, in Baltimore, Argo kicker Wayne Lamley has closed the gap to 14 points in the fourth quarter of the Eastern semifinal with a 21-yard field goal. So it's Baltimore 27, the Argos 13. And on the BC bench, here's the grim news for defensive back Les Brown. He has torn cartilage in his left knee. The cartilage actually began to move and his knee locked up. They've managed to free up the knee, but the training staff says he's done for the game, and he looks awfully disappointed.
Well, again, Les Brown playing in his final football game unless he comes up with a great recovery from that knee problem, planning to retire at the end of the year. Tobert, the intended receiver. Incomplete. It'll be second down. Tony Collier defending for BC.
Damon Allen wasting no time again with Les Brown's absence, going right to the young corner, Tony Collier. But this young rookie, 5'9", 185 pounds out of Mississippi, does an excellent job. Coach Dave Ritchie is very impressed with his closing speed and his hands.
Damon now 15 of 35. Lots of time. Pulls down again, now delivers. There's Eddie Brown! And Eddie Brown will score! A little Damon Allen magic, and Edmonton takes the lead. 75 yards, but it's Damon Allen who should be taking the bows.
I told you earlier that this is a big play guy. He didn't get downtown Eddie Brown. Nicknamed for any other reason than to be a big play guy.
Brown, 6 catches, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That covered 75 yards, but Kep, that was the type of quarterbacking play we've seen down the road a little bit south.
And this is the kind of thing that Damon Allen brings, that additional weapon. Everyone has to respect his running, and they just quit as soon as he made that move toward the line of scrimmage. There was just a little peek in the secondary to take a look. They thought maybe Damon was running, and he was going to get tackled, and they just, for one split second, forgot about Eddie Brown. Damon Allen had the great field vision to be able to see downfield and catch Eddie Brown. This is what these guys do. This is what we see with Doug Flutie and his receivers. Never stop working, never stop trying to get to the open spot, and Eddie Brown found it, and when he did, Damon Allen found him.
An electrifying play puts Edmonton on top first. Pasaglia's missed field goal, and then the Eskimos strike to take the lead, 23-21. Boy, there's no secret. He's the guy you've got to stop to beat Edmonton, especially with Jim Sandusky out. But BC, as well as they've played defensively, have given up the 2 big plays to Brown. Corey Philpott at his 11-yard line. Runs out of bounds before he gets to the 30. So the Eskimos have taken the lead here in the fourth quarter. You know, Kep, it's fun being an armchair coach, but I don't know if these two guys are having fun right now. It's crunch time at Commonwealth Stadium. A 2-point Edmonton lead, and these two guys are putting miles on the sidelines.
Two incredibly intense competitors out there on each side. They would love to be on the field.
And Corey Philpott had a little room up the middle, driving to the 35-yard line, gain of 6. Willie Pless there again. In the last 5 possessions for BC, all in the second half, they've gone 2 and out, 2 and out, 4 and out, 4 and out, 4 and out. So Ken Austin has not been able to really sustain anything in this second half. Corey Philpott's now gone out of the game. Austin 5 for 12, 73 yards, second half. And Ryan Hansen back in. Give to Millington. And they stop him up at the line of scrimmage. And Larry Ruck hanging on. It's 2 and out again for BC in this second half.
You may trick or you may fool this Edmonton defense once, but you're not going to do it again. Same play that looked like he tried to break outside on the touchdown, but this side Larry Ruck has the outside contained. The pursuit is there. Larry Ruck just incredible this year as far as getting around the ball. This is a defense that's really not based around him. It's based around Willie Pless. But to his credit, Larry's kind of like the garbage man. He's just been the best garbage man in the CFL this year.
Kind of like a junkyard dog. Here comes the rush, but Bisaglia gets it away. Williams from his 39. Circled, and he gets a yard on the return. BC continues to excel against the Gizmo this afternoon. 34-yard punt, the yard return.
And this is what happens when you play against a guy like the caliber of Gizmo. He brings out the best in you as far as the coverage team. He challenges you to go down there and get the job done. And to their credit, BC has done an excellent job today.
What did Ron Lancaster say about it, Damon, yesterday? It's not his completion percentage that's going to impress you. And it hasn't been this afternoon, 16 of 36, but he has struck at the right time. Got a big ovation as he came out. Hands the ball off to Floyd, nothing doing.
Just getting back to what you said, Chris, the fact is, he's not a possession type of quarterback. He's not really methodical in his ways. He's moving the ball down the field. This is the big play team. Now there's a good look. That's Gene Gaines, the Lions secondary coach. And I had the pleasure back when I played. Gene Gaines was the defensive back coach here. And he has really established himself as one of the top coaches in this league.
Damon's been a headache for Gene Gaines in preparation this afternoon. Here comes the rush, and Allen gets outside, looking downfield. Lucius Floyd streaking down, and Lucius Floyd stopped at the 15. Damon Allen coming up with the big plays in this fourth quarter. This one 55 yards. The Grey Cup MVP revving it up and talking to the BC bench.
Here's what happened. Now you watch Damon Allen. He's going to make the move coming out of here, but Newby right here is going to come inside and just allow Damon Allen to get outside. If he does his contain route, he's got him covered. But watch how he gets heads up. He allows Damon to get outside by just 1 or 2 extra steps, and that allows Lucius Floyd to get downfield and come up with the big plays.
Saving tackle by Jefferson. First down at the 15. Eskimos leading by 2, 6:15 to go. Flag down, bootleg, Allen. Snipe trying to chase him down, and Allen sidesteps it over the 10. But again, the flag's down.
Quick move by Chaders on the defense, but I think he had time to try to get back out of that neutral zone, and Edmonton jumped off. But they are going to call Chaders on it. That's it. They called him in the neutral zone. I thought he had enough time to get there, make the movement just in the middle of your screen. Now see he stops and comes back. The ball is snapped, and he is caught in the neutral zone. Boom. Gets the 5 yards.
That means it's 1st and 5 at the 10. Tell you what, they call him a money quarterback, and he has been that and more in this fourth quarter. 6 minutes to play. And Allen has Commonwealth Stadium buzzing. Damon Allen keeping. Forced out of bounds. At the 8, it'll be 2nd and 3.
Damon Allen just faking that inside handoff. Not a real good fake to Lucius Floyd. Then he just comes out there. He just looks like he's cruising along, but this guy is motoring. He's picking them up and putting them down. And in the open field, he is very tough to tackle. Virgil Robertson comes in and is able to knock him out of bounds, but it makes it 2nd and about 3 yards.
Jumbo team is in for the Eskimos. A lot of extra beef, including defensive tackle David Bailey lining up on the line. 2nd and 3 from the 8. Give to Souls diving.
Chrissy's going to be short.
Had to get to the 5, didn't get there. Man, Ron Lancaster has another decision to make. 2-point lead, 5:21 to go. They need a yard. Floyd's out. A lot of beef up there, Kevin.
They're going to have to get off the ball, but this defensive BC is tough. Watch them penetrate.
Crunch time. Souls should have it. Well, let's wait. Looks like that initial surge got to the 5. He was pushed back, and it will depend on the spot. Michael Souls has no doubt.
I think the play actually looked a lot closer than what it really is. He didn't get a very good spot.
I don't know.
First down, Edmonton.
Wow.
Not by much. I think had the paint been a little thinner, it would have been going back the other way, the paint on the football.
Tell you what, even when they measured, some of the Lions thought they'd stopped him. What a stand.
Okay. Down, goal for the Eskimos. Ball just outside the BC 5.
So it's 1st and goal from the 5. Lucius Floyd broke a tackle and is nailed at the 5. They should have had him in the backfield, but they did shut him down at the line of scrimmage. Tom Europe, Angelo snipes there.
Andrew Stewart just does an excellent job of getting up the field, gets great penetration, but you can see how deep this ball is. I'm sorry, that's Tyrone Chapman. I'm seeing 73 out there. Chapman gets in there, forces it, and disrupts the whole play, and then it allows the rest of that pursuing defense of BC to get in and make the tackle.
Floyd got 1, 2nd and goal from the 4. Souls the lone setback. Allen to Christensen, picked off! Charles Gordon has it up across the 40-yard line. There's a flag down, but what a huge play for Gordon. Charles Gordon, who blocked a punt earlier, has a huge interception to snuff out an Eskimo drive.
A good look at Charlie Gordon on the sideline. His first pick of the game, his 9th of the season. A pass that Damon Allen should have never thrown. Off balance, tries to throw the long out to Christensen, but Gordon just makes a great break on the ball underneath and comes up with a big turnover to put the ball back into Ken Austin's hands. 1st and 10 on the 41.
Saw the marker there, but no penalty was called. First down at the 41. Flags come down. Pass delivered behind Mike Trevathan, but it looked like Leroy Blue had jumped the gun. 3:33 to go. High drama at Commonwealth Stadium. A 2-point Edmonton lead.
Offside. Edmonton number 89. Still first down.
Leroy Blue, who's had an outstanding year. In fact, Ron Lancaster said it was almost a toss-up for top Canadian. Blue, Ruck, who got the nod, and Michael Souls on offense.
Coach Lancaster just paid him the ultimate compliment and just said, this guy is a player. He comes to work every day and gives you 200%.
First and 5. Corey Philpott, and they keep stuffing Philpott near the line. Tony Woods that time. At the 49, he got a couple.
Chris, but it's very important that they do keep doing that. They're running that ball inside, making this Edmonton defense respect the inside rushing game, because one of the big things that Ken Austin likes to do is to run the play action pass. So as he fakes it inside, it opens up those quick hitters inside.
We got 2 downs to make it.
Welcome back, second down, they needed 3, and Corey Philpott crashing through close to the first down. At Commonwealth Stadium with 2:51 to go, BC has the first down. Oh, wait a minute, they're now going to call for the yardsticks.
Well, I think you made a good call, Chris. I think they do have the first down, but just to be sure, they're bringing out the chains. Corey Philpott, normally not very tough inside, and when he gets inside, Larry Ruck just puts a lick on him. Corey Philpott fell forward for the first down.
By the length of the football. Well, the Western playoffs usually don't disappoint, and it has been a splendid football game this afternoon. Philpott slow to get up. BC looking for its first postseason victory since 1988, when they won the Western Final here at Commonwealth Stadium with Matt Dunnigan at quarterback. The Eskimos looking for their 5th consecutive berth in the Western Final.
Chris, that's a couple times that Corey Philpott has walked off the field under his own power, mind you, but he has left the game. Heck, this is the playoffs, man. If you don't win this game, you don't go on. You got to stay out there and make them drag you off the field.
First down for Austin. Pumps once. Now out in the flat to Matt Clark. Clark into Edmonton territory in front of Morris Lawler. And they'll mark the ball at the Edmonton 48-yard line. That's close to a first down, and indeed it moves the sticks.
Pump and go to the inside receivers, and then he had to bring it down because Edmonton just didn't bite on it. Lawler's got his hand up around the face mask. Could have been called there also, just to add another 15 yards or 10 yards onto it.
Well, fortunately, this game has not been marred by a rash of penalties. 2:15 to go. First down for Austin, has time over the middle, and Trevathan was grabbed from behind, and Donnie Wilson with the defensive play incomplete. Airtight coverage. I wasn't sure we weren't going to see a flag there, Kep.
Good blocking up front, and you can see right there the left hand of Donnie Wilson grabbed Trevathan's left arm also and spun him around. Wilson got away with one.
They're not in Passaglia field goal range yet. 2nd and 10 from the 48 of Edmonton. Austin over the middle. There's Trevathan, and he has a first down. Glenn Rogers Jr. with the tackle, but Trevathan has his first catch of the day in this, his first game of the year against Edmonton.
And what a clutch catch. It couldn't have come at a better time for the BC offense. And Ken Austin comes back. There's a couple of receivers in the area. He's just dragging underneath the zone. And Ken Austin puts the ball right on the money. Trevathan, a very sure-handed receiver, dropped one earlier in the second quarter, but came back to make a great stab there.
Now BC is in the driver's seat because they can control the clock. They want to get closer to Passaglia range. Big Sean Millington down to the 33. Leroy Blue tackling there. Both field goal kickers are 2 for 4 today. Here's Mark.
Chris, in Baltimore, the Quasi Colts have taken a stranglehold with 4 minutes to go in the game. Chris Armstrong, as slot back, has caught his second touchdown pass of the afternoon from Tracy Ham to make it 34-13. Baltimore in control ahead of the Argos.
What a year for Chris Armstrong, the former Eskimo. Here's a big play. 2nd and 7. Austin with time. An open receiver is Flutie. And Darren Flutie inside the 25 has another first down. 1:21 left on the clock. And they're now in a position to let Louis Pasaglia kick for the winning points, but Dave Ritchie wants to hold on to the football, and if you get it in the end zone, it makes it even tougher for Edmonton to come back.
This is good. Work the clock right now, and I don't think you've got anybody better in this league at working the clock than Ken Austin. Run it down. Give as little time as you can after the field goal to the Eskimos.
Big Sean Millington has a couple up the middle, maybe 3 to the 21. Under a minute left. Well, will Damon Allen get another chance? He's trying to stay warm at the Eskimo bench. But BC intent on not giving him the ball back. And if they don't, Allen will think about the pass Charlie Gordon picked off for a long time.
Well, it's a kind of offense that Edmonton comes up with, that they're a big play offense, but they make the big plays when teams aren't expecting it. When they come back on the field the next time, everybody in this stadium is going to expect them to have to go deep.
2nd and 7, and Millington only got a couple. Stopped up at the 20. Ron Lancaster will stop the clock with 35 seconds left. So if Pasaglia is good, Lancaster will still have some time to work with, but not a whole lot.
And you've got a guy by the name of Henry Gizmo Williams who can be renowned as far as getting you instant field position on returns. We'll see how that turns out if, in fact, Louis Pasaglia is good on this kick.
Kep, I gotta think he'll concede the single here, though, if there's a miss and maintain the 1-point lead.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it.
All right. Here it is for Pasaglia, the 19-year veteran, trying to kick BC into the Western Final. It's good! 32 seconds left. And BC has taken the lead 24-23.
Chris, 32 seconds can seem like an eternity out there, particularly when you're trying to protect a 1-point lead.
Dave Ritchie now 32 seconds away. But Edmonton about 30 yards away from Sean Fleming Rain.
His longest field goal of the season is 56 yards.
At the 35, it's do or die time for the defending Grey Cup champions. Allen in the flat, Tolbert's open, can't hang on. Oh boy. He's done such a nice job this year as a reserve receiver, but in his biggest moment, couldn't hang on. That takes 5 seconds off the clock, and it's 2nd and 10. No team has repeated as Grey Cup champions since the dynasty days of the Edmonton Eskimos. And Edmonton may be 27 seconds away from losing their title, but it's not over yet. Souls scampering to the sidelines, gets out, doesn't have the first down. At the 43-yard line, 20 seconds left in the 3rd down.
Terrific defensive play that time by Wilburn to come up, not only to make the tackle, but to make the tackle on Souls short of the first down, particularly with as hurt as he's had to play through the course of this game. You can see how gingerly he is at moving. It just probably hurts to just take a breath when you have rib problems.
3rd down and a couple. They've got to get the first down, but they've got to move it a lot further than 2. Damon Allen looking for Tolbert, and it's incomplete! And the celebration's on! The BC Lions have forced them to turn it over on downs.
Chris, give yourself a shake here. What kind of play was that to call when you need 2 yards and you throw that deep out about 40 yards across the field?
Well, 2 errant passes in the last 3 minutes, unbelievably, from Damon Allen. And Dave Ritchie is about to post the first playoff win for the BC Lions since '88.
Yes! Not too many people gave that man and this team much credit and much chance to come out of Commonwealth Stadium with a victory today, but somebody just forgot to tell Ken Austin and the BC Lions.
No timeouts left, so they'll just let her run down. Somehow, I don't think the critics in Vancouver will be quite as loud this week when talking about Dave Ritchie.
You know something, even if they do talk and even if they do find something, I can guarantee you, not Coach Ritchie or the rest of those ball players on the BC Lions are going to listen to one word. They know exactly what they're capable of.
Time's expired, and the BC Lions are going to the Western Final for the first time in the 90s. It won't be an all-Alberta Western Final.
What a courageous performance by Ken Austin to come off the bench, not having all the tools that he would really like to be 100%. But when he did, he just got the job done. Couple of errors on both teams' early part of the game, and then a big glaring error as far as an interception being thrown by Damon Allen late in the game. And Charles Gordon is the man that came up with the tremendous turnover.
Austin playing with a separated shoulder. Ron Lancaster, who engineered the 93 Grey Cup champions, they have been defeated. Let's go down and talk to the winning coach with Mark Lee.
Thank you, Chris. Dave Ritchie, you said this was going to be a war yesterday. There were all kinds of casualties, and what can you say about the way your defense hung in there?
They played great. They gave up a couple long plays, but they played great. Charlie's interception, I think, got us going back again, and two good football teams out there.
How does it feel, Dave, to win for BC its first playoff game since 1988?
I think it's great. It's great, especially for the guys that got hurt. Barry Wilburn, I think, cracked his ribs and came back and played the second half. Les blew his knee out. I don't know. The list goes on and on. I don't know if we got enough to show up next week.
I was going to say, Danny's got the bad knee. Les has got cartilage problems. Wilburn, the ribs. What kind of shape will you be in next week?
I'll just go home and pray about it right now. I want to thank my makeup shows. Thank you.
All right, Dave, congratulations. Dave Ritchie, head coach, congratulating Charles Gordon, who had a blocked punt that scored a touchdown. And Charles Gordon also had the big interception when the Eskimos were on the 4-yard line threatening late in the fourth quarter. Tell us about that play.
Well, Eddie Brown had been working me pretty good all game. I've been trying to give him a big cushion because he's got good speed, and I happen to have Jay Christensen on that side, and I'd been sitting outside waiting for an out pattern the whole game, and I finally got it on like the last drive of the game, and I picked it off and ran it as far as I could.
The secondary was really pulverized with injuries. Were you guys feeling at all vulnerable?
No, we got good depth back there. You know, we got 3 or 4 potential all-stars back there in the secondary. Barry Wilburn. You know, we played a good defensive game as a team, and I'm just glad Lou kicked that field goal and we won it.
Tell me about your defense. So only 2 guys are back from last year. You're a young defense. You play with such reckless abandon out there.
Yeah, we got a good mix of young guys and old guys, veteran guys who've been to the Grey Cup before, and we got great leadership from guys like Les Brown and offensively like Ken Austin. You know, we're just putting it together and taking it one game at a time, one play at a time.
One game at a time. You're headed for the Western Final. The first victory you've had, the BC Lions, since 1988. What are you going to have left next week with all the injuries?
Well, we're going to take 2 days off, come back. Whoever we have, we got enough depth, to give whoever we play a good game, and we're going to go in and try to win it and get in the Cup because we're bringing the Grey Cup home to Vancouver.
All right, Charles, time to celebrate these.
A couple people. I'd like to say hi to our mom and dad, to Amy and Tay, to Kuni Matata, to everybody in Florida. Peace to Allah.
Charles, well done. Charles Gordon with a blocked punt that led to a touchdown in the first half, and of course that crucial turning point, the interception late in the fourth quarter that led the BC Lions on to victory. We'll be back to wrap up right after this. Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the Lions have defeated the Eskimos by the slimmest of margins, 24-23, to win the Western semifinal. The Lions move on to the Western Final. Could be against Calgary or Saskatchewan next week. Ken Austin, survival of the fittest out there today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. Both teams played really hard. They're a very physical team, and we're just real fortunate to get out of here with a win.
Kent, you come into this game in relief of Danny McManus, who injured his right knee in the first half. You were nursing or recuperating from a separated left shoulder, and what about the leg?
Well, 2 days ago in practice, I pulled my right calf, if you can believe that. I've been worried about my shoulder the whole week, and came out here in the first series when I was in and pulled it again, so I was kind of hobbling around, wasn't able to plant, but our line did a great job of protecting without me being able to move around that much.
What do you think is possible for the BC Lions? The team has been retooled on defense. You come in to lead the offense.
Well, we're shooting for the Grey Cup. I think we're as good as any team in the league, and of course you got to play every week to prove it. And but I think if we play a clean game and don't turn the ball over, we got a chance to make it there.
All right, Kent, congratulations on the victory, and good luck next weekend in the West Final.
Thanks. Hello to Shelley and Kendall back home. I love y'all.
Kent Austin coming in relief of Danny McManus to lead the BC Lions to a 1-point victory here in this West semifinal. For their thoughts on this outstanding and very physical football team, let's go to the booth and join Chris and Danny.
Well, let's hail the winners, but talk about the vanquished champions, the Edmonton Eskimos. And Kep, I can hear the unhappy fans behind us. I think they're going to be talking about 2 Damon Allen passes for quite a while here.
2 very glaring errors by a veteran quarterback. The throw that he threw out to Jay Christensen, the first pass that he attempted to throw to Jay Christensen all day long, picked off by Gordon. But then even more glaring was the 3rd down play. It's 3rd and 2 to pick up the first down. They still had about 22 seconds left to go on the clock, and he throws about a 35-yard out to the youngster Tolbert. I'm not sure. I don't want to justify it or anything like that. I don't even know. Maybe he didn't think that it was 3rd down. Right. Maybe he just thought it was 2nd down and he had a lapse of memory or something. But if he didn't, it was a really poorly called play.
I can't help but think it was a Dan Kepley kind of football game. Boy, it was some kind of fierce.
It was tough out there. When you get out there and it's physical and there's a lot of defense out there, and I told you, it's defenses that are going to win you these championships. The main thing is that those offensive guys are going to put points on the board, but the defensive guys are the guys that are going to go out there and knock people around and intimidate them, come up with the big plays, keep them out of the end zone, and it was exciting to watch it on both sides of the ball today.
Well, Louis Pasaglia has had many thrills in a brilliant 19-year career, and this one's going to rank right up there, even though it's one that Louis always makes.
Well, you remember a couple of years ago, there was a guy named Dave Ridgway that had lined up to do the exact same thing and slipped on the play, and it didn't make it, and Edmonton squeaked into that playoff game. But this time, Louis Pasaglia, 40 years old, it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
So the BC Lions come up with the win. They get set to either go to Calgary next week or to go home and get ready for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I wonder what those 2 teams are thinking right now as they get set for their game tomorrow, and I'm sure most of them watching this one.
Let's think just hypothetically. Can you imagine what would happen if all of a sudden BC is playing a Western Final game in BC and win that to go on and have the Grey Cup this year in Vancouver? Be pretty exciting.
Well, it's going to be exciting next week, whether or not it's in Calgary or in BC after what we saw today. Mark?
Chris, the story in the Eastern Final in Baltimore, the final now. The Quasi-Colts defeating the Toronto Argonauts by a score of 34-15, so they move on to the East Final next weekend. But the story here at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, the Lions are moving on with their first victory in the playoffs since 1988, 24-23, the final over Edmonton. Back in Edmonton on a great day for football here in northern Alberta. The final score, the Eskimos, the hometown team, going down to defeat the final 24-23 at the hands of the BC Lions. The Lions snapping an illustrious 8-year streak for the Eskimos. They had been in the Western Final. It is not to be this time around. And this was the play that turned it around, the turning point in the football game, coming late in the 4th quarter. The Eskimos threatening inside the 4-yard line. Damon Allen looks to the wide side for Christensen, is picked off by Charles Gordon, who was lying in the weeds on that play. Damon Allen never saw him. Gordon returning the ball almost to midfield. That would end the last serious threat that the Edmonton Eskimos would have. On offense for the BC Lions, it was not Corey Philpott who was the threat on the ground today, but it was big 6'3", 220-pound fullback Sean Millington. Here, taking the handoff from Danny McManus running through several arm tackles on the part of the Edmonton Eskimos for the touchdown. That put BC in front early in the first half of this football team. There you see the last time that the Edmonton Eskimos won the Grey Cup, 1993, their 11th, but it will not happen this year. The BC Lions are moving on to the Western Final next weekend. And joining us now, the owner of the Lions, Bill Comrie. This must be awfully satisfying for you.
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, to come in here and beat Edmonton, and then to have everything put together in the last minute the way they did. They're for real.
You're kind of shaking here. You're really wound up.
Just talking to some of the guys. They're all pumped up. It's great. They're excited, and they're waiting for the outcome now. Saskatchewan, Calgary, and we're ready.
Bill, tell me about your football club. Last regular season game, you had nearly 41,000 fans. You lost to Calgary by just 1 point. Now you beat the defending Grey Cup champions. Things are looking awfully promising, aren't they?
Well, it's nice, when you have a guy like Danny McManus start because Kent's hurt, and then Danny goes down and you have Kent come in and finish like he did. I mean, we've got great support. Les Brown went down. Glenn Scrivener's hurt right now. The guys just keep filling in. They're playing well, and I think they're ready.
There were a lot of casualties. Add another name to that list, Barry Wilburn, who injured his ribs in the first half, found it very painful just to sit down on the bench coming out after plays. It does beg the question, how much you guys have left?
Well, it does. He came back and played, and hopefully Danny Mack will be back also, so we'll have the two quarterbacks again. There's injuries. They assess this coming week, and we'll see.
Right. Okay, so the BC Lions heading to the West Final. First win since 1988, when, in fact, the Lions beat the Eskimos right here at Commonwealth Stadium. Congratulations to your team, and good luck next weekend in the West Final.
Thanks a lot.
Bill Comrie, the owner of the BC Lions, who are victorious here this afternoon. The final score over the Edmonton Eskimos, 24-23. The Eskimos' string of 8 straight appearances in the West Division Final is snapped. They will not be going this year. The Lions, of course, with their first playoff win since 1988. Of course, they went on to the Grey Cup that year, losing by just 1 point to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the dying minutes of that football game. And you see a few forlorn Edmonton football fans refusing to go home, almost refusing to accept defeat here at Commonwealth Stadium as it sinks in a 1-point loss to the BC Lions. In Baltimore, it was no contest as the Baltimore team defeated the Toronto Argonauts the final 34-15. Chris Armstrong with 2 touchdowns in that game. Rob Drummond filling in for Mike Pringle at running back with 2 as well. Tomorrow, we will be in Calgary, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders take on the Calgary Stampeders in the other West semifinal. Game time, 3 Eastern. On the road to the 82nd Grey Cup in Vancouver, just 2 weeks away, November 27th, 6 o'clock Eastern, from BC Place Stadium in Vancouver. The story today, the Lions one step closer as you see the jubilation on the face of head coach Dave Ritchie to going to that Grey Cup that they will host 2 weeks from now. It's all over. Thanks for watching, and so long from Edmonton.